Script started. Dependencies loaded. Booting Series 13 of the Year of Shame Challenge. Please wait.
Hello and welcome back to the Year of Shame Season 13, a slightly belated March instalment from us, but we are back and it's hopefully going to be a good session for everybody. Apologies again, they're a little bit late. Joining me as always are Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Hello, how are things?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay.
Good stuff.
Picking up. Things are picking up.
And Paul, welcome back.
Hello there, how are you?
Yeah, very, very good, thank you. A busy month gone, and looking forward to cracking on some more gaming. So, as I say, it's been quite the month. Lots going on, being away from home a lot with work and things. But I won't start with me because I could go on forever about what's going on. So, what have you guys been up to this month? How's life been? So, I'll start with you, Paul.
Yeah, I've had quite a busy month actually. Been doing a little bit of work in the garden. Been looking a little bit neglected. Been doing that in the sun today. Managed to break some gardening tools, not out of frustration, but out of sheer usage. Obviously, I mean, these £10 tools that I'm prepared to pay for did about 1/3 of the job, so I'm going to have to go spend another £10 and another tool to do the other third, and then no doubt another £10 after that. I had a really nice time being, I got invited to be on another podcast, which was the
cool.
Seal podcast. Which
cool.
was really good, with Fraser and Neil as Dave, the other host. I think he'd gone to go see some kind of comedy show on the Friday night or something, which was, I imagine, would have been really good. They very kindly let us chat about the show as well, so they give us a really good plug. And yeah, it was a really good experience. So for anyone that hasn't heard of the Seal podcast, it's well worth listening to. And they've got about 270 shows on there. They've been going for many years. One thing I will say is the show that you hear or what you watch on the if you watch it on the Discord, they don't do it on Discord, what do they do? What's it on Twitch? They do it on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 hours, boom, job done. There's no editing afterwards, etc. What you see is what you get. They do take a little clip out of the show and put it on front end as like a little, lead in sort of thing. And yeah, because probably us, we know that when you finish the show, you can spend hours editing it to put the show together. And no, man, it was just 2 hours, boom, job done. Well done then. I mean, that's something where I think you can do a weekly show, to do a monthly show, to edit something. Yeah. Man, 6 or 7, it could be 6 hours or something just to get it all sounding good. So yeah, fantastic.
They're professionals now.
They are professional, yeah. They've done so many shows, yeah. They're great guys as well. And yeah, really enjoyed it.
Oh, brilliant stuff. That's cool. It's good to be getting your name out there on other stuff. That's all.
Famous.
What have you been up to, Brian?
Let's see. When we were doing the last show back in, was it February? Since this is the March episode, my mental health took a big dip, so I've been struggling with that for a while. I hit my gaming, to be honest. But during the past couple of, not the past couple of weeks, but I met up with Stuart, who was back at the start of March, with Stuart Ramage, who, long-time listener to our long-time listener. We've been going, this is 3 months, but he's been listening to the podcast for ages. We met up in Tokyo for lunch, and he gave me a bottle of Tasmanian wine, as he lives in Tasmania, and a pack of Tim Tams. Hopefully, this is a new podcast that will be released, and it will break that jinx, Stuart. So hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed. He also asked me for an autograph, but that was just to sign the bill for the meal that we had. No, he graciously covered. It was quite good of him. We'd chat for a while, and his favourite game was Sentinel Returns, and he's played all 1,000 levels. He's actually got recording up on YouTube. It's absolutely crazy how he plays that game. I don't know.
That's a lot of commitment.
I couldn't go back to that. Yeah, I can't go back to that type of thing.
Dedication.
That's pretty awesome you guys got to meet up, and thank you for sharing. We've actually got a little recording from Stuart here that he's done kindly for us, so we'll have that as a bit of an interlude before we get back to Brian. So enjoy, and thank you again, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart Ramage. Live in Tasmania in Australia. As you can tell from the accent, though, not originally from here. Born in Scotland, grew up in South Africa, and we've lived in Australia since '99. I'm lucky enough to have a job that allows me to travel quite a bit. So I caught up with Brian when I was in Tokyo last week, and he's recommended I leave a quick message. I started playing games in 1982 on the trusty ZX Spectrum 48K on a little black and white television. Proudest moment is finishing The Hobbit in the days before the internet and printed guides and so on. And ever since then, been a big fan of gaming. Favourite games are games such as The Sentinel Returns, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, and the Assassin's Creed series. Platforms I started on, the Spectrum as I said, then we had a mix of Nintendos, PC gaming, various PlayStation devices, they're all scattered around the house here somewhere. Currently playing, well, that's a good question. I'm in between games at the moment. I'll probably be starting the Assassin's Creed Shadows since my son gifted it to me for my birthday this year. It can't lie on the pile of shame because that's far too large, you know. With the mixes of Epic stores and Steam games and Amazon Prime gaming donations, are just too much there to play through, even if you had 24 hours a day to work through them. So let's not even look at those. Releases looking forward to, nothing really major. I don't play multiplayer games, so I tend to wait until a game is released and proven before I dive into it. Like I say, Assassin's Creed Shadows will probably keep me busy for the foreseeable future. I tend to 100% a thing, so even with The Witcher 3, there was 2 or 3 missions that I hadn't completed on that when it first came out. And just last month I fired it up again, started from scratch again, and then 100%ed all the way through that and completed that and all the add-ons. So that's sort of how I play. Best of luck to the guys in the Year of Shame this year. I know it can be tough, but not something I could do. I admire you, so best of luck. Cheers all.
Well, yeah, well, he's an old school. He started off on ZX Spectrum. I mean, that's a fine place to start, is the ZX Spectrum.
Oh, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, some of the games, the innovation that they managed to go through on the 16K and the 48K, some of them 16K games was some of my favourite games. I mean, it wasn't for Jetpack, which is a 16K game, but I ultimately played the game, which ultimately, the guys that do Sea of Thieves, etc.
It's rare, isn't it?
Yeah, rare. That's what they've been there from the very beginning, really, and they've been with the ultimate play of the game. There was always a sign of quality, a seal of quality. Ultimate play of the game on Spectrum, you were always going to get a good quality game. Jetpack is the game that blew my mind. That's the game that made me must have a Spectrum. I got to have when I played that game, that was a game changer, literally, for me. So yeah, I remember the game that you were playing as well, Sentinel 2. I remember Sentinel. I remember it being though on the Commodore 64, I think, when I played it. But I think it was one of them games that got excellent reviews, but it was quite highbrow at the time. I think it was kind of like, I'm not sure it was quite my cup of tea. But yeah. But I remember reading all the Crash magazines with the ZX Spectrum. The beauty of the Crash magazines was that they reviewed the game and then they'd tell you down the right-hand side what all the keys were for the game. So if you copied the game, you knew what all the keys were. So it was almost like an instruction manual.
Supporting bootleg.
Yeah. They were perfect with a Crash magazine for your young kids at the time.
Oh, great. I do miss Speckies are great. I need to get one out of the loft from somewhere. But yeah, it's nice to see somebody say start with it. And he's been through, when you say about it was PlayStation era and stuff like that, he's been through Nintendo's PlayStation. He's sort of followed that whole timeline like the rest of it. A lot of it. So
yeah.
And he's doing the right thing as well. Holding off for a few months and then playing the game, because the patches and all the rest of it, you don't realise, there's going to be, with doing this kind of thing, the Year of Shame challenge, you start to realise that you don't need to play a game day one anymore, really. I'll say my whole outlook on gaming has probably changed, because I'm going back and playing the games that hooked me in originally and enjoying them. They all look really good. They all look really good. So you don't have to have the latest and greatest, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's maybe my biggest takeaway. I think for the whole year on that every entire.
I know Stuart showed pictures of his home office, and if you see, he's got all the computers all on frames on the wall. It looks really, really impressive. I'm not jealous at all. All this Spectrum's just they're like look at picture frames, but they're all just hanging on the wall. It looks bloody amazing. It's crazy. And as we said earlier, doing all 1,000 levels of Sentinel 2, just mad, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice for recording that. That was brilliant. So it's good you get to sort of meet you and do that in Tokyo as well. That was cool. And thank you so much, Stuart, also for recording that bit for us. That's awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I've also had 2 weeks off from work, and we were talking earlier, but we have had a medium warning for a volcano. Mount Fuji has been grumbling a lot, and they thought it was going to explode or erupt. And we've also had a mega warning for an earthquake in the Tokyo region, which I thought the estimates were, if it does happen, it'll be 300,000 dead. So a bit serious. So we have to set up our earthquake kit again. Everything's beginning to go out of date. So we have a go bag with radios and food and water and a change of clothes, because everybody in Japan is now supposed to have at least to be able to look after themselves for 3 days. And after it's not the army, they're self-defense force, because Japan's not allowed to have an army. They hopefully get to you and rescue you and sort you out with food. But we want us to have food for a couple of days longer. So we've all these self-heating curry packs. You're supposed to have 3 liters of water per person per day. So we've also built up a whole lot of water, long life bread. It'll last 5 years. It comes in a can. And all these vitamin calorie drinks, just so you can keep yourself going. And torches, batteries. People here, it's really weird. A lot of people, if they live, especially in the older style houses, they have, beside their bed, they'll have a hard hat, just in case there's an earthquake, they can pull up on, and they have a torch. You try to use a real torch rather than the one on your phone, because you don't want to lose the battery on your phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been building up stuff like that. Do you remember during COVID, everybody went out and bought loads of toilet paper? We've got massive stores of toilet paper and stuff. So it's been really weird and disconcerting, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely crazy. I mean, we've both been sat here not saying a lot, listening to all of that, but it's kind of just like we're used to kind of like, well, there's going to be a flood in the UK and that's it, and like that's sort of completely off the spectrum of what we kind of like would be used to or expect. I mean, that must be seriously terrifying to some degree to be having to do all that planning and kind of the potential of that. Even if it's someone in the centre saying, "Oh, this might happen," it still must be mad, because they say the country's all in a single sort of a unified thing of trying to get organised for it.
Yeah, it's quite weird. But there was a big quake in an area called Noto. I think I mentioned it before. But our building just felt like being sat in a boat in the sea. The building just went up and down. I'm using my hands and nobody can see it, but the building just went up and down vertically. And it felt weird, but if it's in that earthquake was on the other side of the country, if we have an earthquake in Tokyo, God knows what it'll feel like. But yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. Apart from that, we went on to the massive Japanese thing because it's cherry blossom season here.
Yeah.
We did some touring, went to Nagoya, and the views were absolutely they were stunning, really stunning. We went to another area called Shizuoka, which is famous for green tea. Paul, you're drinking green tea.
I'm drinking one.
Yeah, it's really. We turned up and it was fucking cloudy, and you're supposed to be able to see cherry blossoms, and you've got Mount Fuji in the background, but you couldn't see Mount Fuji at all. You could just see the very base of it. Then the last we went on the Sumida River, which is the main river, one of the main rivers through Tokyo. So we got a boat ride through that, and it brought you through really interesting views of Tokyo from the river. It's like you see all these massive high rises, and there's one tiny little house in between them. Because the person wouldn't sell their house to the developers, and the tiny little house, it may be 2 or 3 stories high, but it's like beside the building is 50 stories high. It's just really weird, and you can't see them from the main road, so it's only from the river you can see these places. It's really cool.
There's always one, isn't there? There's one house in the middle. It's like a movie thing, isn't it? I can't remember what film it was. They did the same thing in New York or something, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Was that up?
Yeah, that kind of thing as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so weird. It's like when they actually get away with leaving it there. I mean, wouldn't. But the money must be getting thrown at to like, do you want to knock down your little cheap 2-story house, please, and we'll give you several $1 million or whatever it is, just because it's the position it's in. But that's cool that it's still there, though. Fair play to them.
There was a famous one in the UK where when they were building all the motorways, there was some farmer that wouldn't sell. And they had to build the motorways around him in the UK, and they had to build in like tunnels underneath the motorway so he could take his cattle back and forth to the fields and such like.
Oh, I wouldn't say very cool, but my God, the amount of money that must have cost.
I need to look that up. I've never heard of that, and I need to look it up. That's entertaining.
Yeah, it's really cool. And other than that, like from the river, you can see Tokyo Skytree, which is one of the major things. Everything's the same. It was quite cool, but yeah. And
after all that, everything's the
same. Yeah, well, slowly coming out of the mental health dip. So yay!
No, I'm glad to hear that. That's the most important bit there. Really, is you're on the up from that. So I mean, we're all susceptible to it. I think a lot of people listening will probably be in that same boat, saying so as well. So that's good, mate. I know. We spoke about it a little bit offline between the three of us. So it's great to hear you on the up. That's awesome.
Thank you for that as well. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, other than that, everything's back to normal, getting there. Going back to work, it definitely helps me get my mind off stuff, so it's good.
Yeah. I think it's always a thing, isn't it? A bit of the standard day-to-day puts things back in perspective a little, I guess, really. Even if it is work and it's slightly boring sometimes, but hey. Cool.
That's it. How about yourself then?
Well, I'm probably about 80-90% of the reason we're late, so I give an apology for that one again. But March was just crazy, to be honest. I started a new job last July, as we've discussed probably a couple of times. It's been on the Midlife Gamer group, and Mike had my first big product release I'm doing as a product manager was out in LA this month. So I was out there for just under a week in Anaheim, doing a convention, releasing this product and a huge show, sending it all up, taking it down. So that was 11 and a half hours out there, and just total time difference and all that sort of stuff, which knocks you back. And the presentations and everything before that and all the planning, it's just been an absolute madcap month. It was amazing. It's one of the coolest things I think I've done for work, which is brilliant. And Anaheim's an amazing place. But it was just so busy. You don't realise quite how tired standing on your feet and not doing a lot for a day apart from talking to people makes you. But it's just one of those things that does, especially when you're kind of at a point in the job now where I feel like I belong. I don't have that imposter syndrome. I understand cryogenics a bit more, which I didn't 6 months ago. But it's brilliant. Really, really cool week. Got to have some time off during it, which was nice. Managed to find a local race sim cafe, which I beat all my colleagues on for an hour period. So that made me very happy. They're all exceptionally sporty, which I can't be with my heart condition. But I managed to beat them at race simming instead. So that's it. That's my forte now. Well, that's my one thing. Let me have it. Just the one. So that was the big thing for the month. I've also had a little thing about the size of a paperclip in my chest as a heart rate monitor for the last 5 years to help with a medical study. For anyone who doesn't know or is interested, I suffer from a thing called persistent AF, which means my heart rate jumps out whenever it fancies it, really, to be honest with you. So it's one of those things, normally when you're older you get it, is what I've always been told. So I am like the really interesting person every time I go near a hospital. Into my 40s, and they're like, "Oh, can we do studies on you? Put an implant in your chest and read your heart rate for." Okay, fine, if it helps, I suppose. But the battery on this thing was 5 years, and it's just ran out. So they then decided they want to take it back out. So it's only under a skin layer there to pull it out, which was fun.
Is that Bluetooth?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I was Bluetooth for a 5-year period. I'm not sure which version of Bluetooth
wow.
I was, but my Wi-Fi wasn't very good. There was great reception, wasn't great.
So do you pop up on like people's phones and stuff when you go by them? You know, like the Bluetooth.
Strange.
You know,
It's just like you connected to Ben. What?
yeah.
No, weirdly enough, I asked the same question. It is a secure channel, so you get it on your iPhone, an app, whatever it is, this MediLink thing or something it was called. But it is a hidden Bluetooth frequency, I think, effectively. Yeah, I was worried about people like connecting their Bluetooth headsets to me and stuff like that, and I end up start singing like, I don't know, Queen and Fleetwood Mac on demand or something. But no, that didn't happen, luckily enough.
Turn the volume up and watching your heart rate go up.
Yeah. It is weird, sort of thing. You just like something would go wrong, or it would jump out for like a half-hour period or something, and then I get an email from the hospital saying, "Oh, we've noticed this." It's like, wow, that's cool. So it would just read it via Bluetooth and would send a message off straight to the hospital, kind of thing,
Wow.
to my specialist, who's a really really lovely guy, and he'd sort of just be an email straight back. It's like, "Oh, we've noticed this. Here's his readings. Is everything okay now?" And you're like, "Well, yeah, actually, it's great. Thanks. Oh, no problem. Speak to you soon." And that was it. But it was really being paid attention to, which was quite cool. I have to say, I was glad to be part of it. I mean, I was a couple of times it was helpful for me. You kind of get into hospital a little bit quicker because they could read your ECG before you got there and stuff like that, which was quite awesome. But I think more than anything else, it was kind of, I get to be helpful with other people who suffer from it. It's not a wonderful thing to have, so if I could be helpful to others, that's pretty cool. So that was nice. So it feels weird
Very
now.
noble.
I haven't got this very kind of like weird like paperclip under my skin you can rub on my chest now. It's just my party piece is gone. I'm not like the worst RoboCop in the universe anymore.
So you've lost your nubbin.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just my third nipple has disappeared. That's it. So that's the other big thing that's kind of happened. Other than that, I've decorated my house. I've bored you with pictures of that, guys. So I apologise. You've now seen my wonderfully decorated hallway, but I've done that.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, and with spring being around the corner, as you said, well, we've been doing work on the house as well and doing stuff on the garden. So I've got my glorious strawberry patch from last year, which hasn't died over the winter. So. And doing middle-aged man things and gardening. So that's been my month. But it's just, yeah, it's been the quickest but the busiest and longest 4 weeks ever, I think, to be honest, is probably the way of putting it. But yeah, actually, there we have it.
Speaking of strawberries, when do strawberries come out in England?
Sort of May, I think it's June time, isn't it? You should start seeing some. June
around
to
Wimbledon
September.
season.
Yeah, June to September is what Osgrove normally.
Yeah, strawberry season here now.
Again,
guys in strawberry season for the past 2 months. It's really fucking weird.
I keep seeing things though about, is it Japan where you can buy these humongous strawberries and they're meant to be like a very favourable sort of gift if you give it to somebody. They can be like humongous, like cost £200 for a strawberry or equivalent or more.
That you get grapefruit or melons. They're all weird shapes. They're hugely expensive, especially if you go to some of the department stores. They have the food court on the bottom floor. It's called a Dipachka department. I don't know what the chka bit of it, but the food there is crazy. But we have oranges growing on trees. The oranges are in season at the moment, or they have loads of types of oranges, and they're all in season at different times of the year. But like you're picking oranges in winter, and they're eating them. And to me, oranges are a summer fruit, but it just seems really odd.
Weird.
Yeah, that's very weird here.
I got excited then about the £200 strawberries. I mean, mine are like tiny, so I'm not going to be getting any money from those, sadly enough. But I'm just happy to be able to grow something without killing it a lot of the time. But
that's yeah.
I think we've got the other options you got from the gardening. I think my kids and my wife have done peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes. I think as well. So I think if the weather's going to hold out this weekend and stay nice, those will be getting transplanted out into the garden rather than being tucked away, being worshipped upon in our conservatory in a nice warm house.
It'll be a big shock for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst bit. So that's pretty much my month in a nutshell. That's probably about 10 minutes of a nutshell, but there we go. It's been an interesting one, which has been cool. I guess the next big question is then, what have we been playing? I know that we chose Kena Bridge of Spirits last month. You guys absolutely ploughed through that, and despite me sitting on planes for like over the 20, 30 hours, I still haven't got there, and I apologise. So I'll make the advanced apology for that one. That I'm lagging behind you both. I'm up to, I can't remember what it's called now, the Vine Boss, I think it is, which is about 3/4 of the way through. So I'm catching up, but I'm not quite there. But wow, it's been a great game. I'm glad we chose that one. As an overall, I won't jump in again on me. So, Brian, what have you been playing this month? I know you said you have less time than normal, but obviously apart from Keenan.
I played Keenan, really good game. I was a third-person action adventure. I took this down off Wikipedia, developed by Ember Lab. But I won't give spoilers, but the game is tough, properly tough, and you help deceased people move from the physical world to whatever. But it caught me. Some of the story I didn't expect. Maybe looking back on it, it was obvious who exactly was deceased, but I didn't realize. So it actually got to me quite a bit in some of the parts of the game. Very good. I finished that, thankfully. I played another game. My backlog was Tales of Kenzira Zhao. Abu Bakr Salim he's an actor. He's also the voice actor in the show. He set up a company, made this during COVID.
Okay.
It's a Metroidvania, basically side-scrolling, but it has the shittiest double jump I've ever played. It's fucking temperamental. It's not temperamental. You have to be so fucking exact to get the second jump, so that you can actually hit the hit the surface at the right time, and then do it again, going backwards and forwards, and just to try and go up like a cliff or something. It's really fucking. Oh, it's so temperamental. It drove me nuts. I ended up putting that down to the easiest level I could get. I still was going nuts at it. It's so unforgiving. But the story in this hit me hard because it's about him losing his father and getting through it. And apparently I have PTSD over my own father's death. Yay!
Okay.
So the game itself hit me hard emotionally. It was quite good. It was fucking draining because of that double jump. It was so bad, but it was overall a decent game. But if he just fixed that up, I think he'd have it'd be an extremely good game. And after that, I played. Go on, yeah.
I was going to say it won an award at BAFTAs, the gaming BAFTAs this week as well. It was it won it for something like for the best story or something.
Oh, that's cool. I like the story. It was quite good.
Yeah,
really impressed.
It literally won. Yeah.
I have to admit, I wasn't aware of what it was until you guys said about it. So.
Yeah. The only other game I played, I put a note on Facebook about the games leaving PlayStation Plus, whatever level, and just saying to people, because Sony doesn't tell people, so I put up on the Facebook group about these games leaving, and somebody, David Patrick, he mentioned Miasma Chronicles. It is not my type of game. Definitely is not my type of game. But for some reason, I started playing it. I went looking at the reviews, and the reviews are somewhere between 4 and 7. There's a huge variety of the game. It's one of those 4X games. So you've got like Explore, 4X, Explore, Exsanguinate, Exterminate, Extroverts. I don't know what the fuck 4X stands for, but you just basically, it's like a type of role-playing game, but it's post-apocalyptic. There you go. Didn't stumble on my words for that. It's a turn-based game with stealth, and it's basically just a puzzle game. How you go through each attack, and it's properly got sunk claws into me. The story is crap, pretty much crap. Very generic. Voice acting at sometimes is extremely dreadful. But the game has really got its claws into me. So I have until the 15th, which is 3 days to try and finish it. I probably won't get it finished in 3 days, seeing as I'm away tomorrow and the next day. But
no.
So we'll see. But it's quite good. So I'll put it on the wish list. At some point I'll pick it up and finish it off. But it's a really good game. Other than that, then I've been Look, still working on my platinum for Eternal and playing the odd evening of Mass Effect 1. So that's it. That's all I've been playing. How about you guys? Paul, how have you been? What have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been playing quite a few actually. A lot of my games I'm generally a third or halfway through, because I usually, if I like a game, I will play it, and I'll get to a certain point and think, oh yeah, I can't wait to get back to playing that again, and then something else turns up, and then I never go back to it. So, but I finished off a couple of like older games, but like you guys have been playing as well, like Keenus, Bid Your Spirits, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I would not have gone back to that if it hadn't come up on the random generator thing last time for us all to play. I thought it was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. I played it on story mode. I generally do that these days because I just want to enjoy the exploration, the puzzles, the story, the graphics, the sound. And that game's got it oozing out of it, really. It is absolutely fantastic.
I agree. It's so good. I was really not expecting it to be as decent as it was. It was one of those games I grabbed and just thought someone said it was decent on I think it was a YouTube video or something. And they were like, oh, it's Unreal Engine 5. It's good. It's meant to be great. And I think the word someone used was like, it's like a new version to a degree of Zelda off the N64. And I was like, sold completely straight away. But then I just put it in the pile and forgot, sort of thing. You both played it off PS Plus, wasn't it? Was that correct? Was it on there? Yeah. But yeah, it was great. It really was.
I think that's leaving as well.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's on its way out. We literally picked it at the right time.
Yeah. To me, the only problem with it really was that I found combat slightly loose. But other than that, if that was tightened, it'd be a pretty excellent game.
But you're coming from Returnal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Anything's loose in comparison to Returnal. That's top tier. That's top tier, like timing is Returnal. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. But for me, they wanted to like not really have a tough time with the bad guys. It was kind of like pretty cool. I dodged around, panicked for about 5 minutes on each of the main bosses in story mode. And enjoyed it. You know, I just killed them and got past it and moved on to the next bit, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I've played tons of other games. I've finished one that's been in my pile of shame for a long, long time, and that was Red Dead Redemption 2. I'd not played it since 2023. I'd literally finished the main story, but there's more to that game than just the main story. It goes on to the epilogue, and that game is seriously so long. It doesn't have one epilogue, it has 2 epilogues. And then it finally finishes. But yeah, fantastic.
Value for money.
Yeah, that game is pure value for money. The only thing they haven't done, I know they are a bit of a cash grabber, sort of. I mean, they've given you a fantastic story, but one thing they've never done, they've never unlocked it from 30 frames per second or enhanced it in any which way. I'd have happily probably, it's one of them games that's so good, you'd have happily have paid £10 to play the enhanced version. But unfortunately, no, you can't. So it's stuck at 30 frames per second. It's not so bad. On our TV, it does kind of smooth out them. A modern TV kind of smooths out them 30 frames per second a little bit. And once you get used to it, it's not so bad. So yeah, really enjoyed that. I finished 2 other games, Crises 2, which was halfway through. Really enjoyed that. Went straight on to finish Crises 3. Once again, halfway through it. Like you'd think you would finish Crises 2 before you even bothered starting Crises 3. So yeah, which led me to play another game, which was Metro Exodus, but it was the DLC, which was Sam's story. And that main story is about 6 hours long. And I was once again halfway through that one, so it took me about another 3 or 4 hours. Really good, actually. The only problem with going through all these different games is that it takes you an hour to get back into like the controls, to remember what you can do and what you can't do. I mean, that Metro Exodus in particular has got some, some oddness to its controls. When you first go back, there's a lot of buttons to be pressed and different things you can do at different times. I played some Dragon Age Inquisition for a few hours, which I really like. I have finished it previously on PC, but I've got it on Xbox and I fancied that. I played a few hours in that, which led me to play Dragon Age Veilguard, which I'd already played a few hours of. But I think the story's a little bit thin on that in comparison to the other Dragon Age games. It is a bit lacking. But once again, playing it on story mode. So you go into these big so-called battles, you do them in about 2 minutes. And it just, I don't know, I want to enjoy it. And a lot of other podcasters I've listened to have said that they really, really enjoyed it. And basically from what they've generally said in the past and the games that they've said that they've enjoyed, I would normally agree with them. So yeah, so I don't know, I'll have to give it a bit more time.
I think it's been classified as one of those games where it really, really does depend on what you go in expecting from it. I think anyone who's, as I think we discussed earlier, anyone who's gone into the original Dragon Age 1 and 2, and maybe the Inquisition game, whatever it is, those ones, from the kind of the depth and the weight of those games, they've kind of extracted that a little bit from this to make it more accessible to a larger group of gamers, which, great, brings more people to it, but as you say, like, to someone who's sort of played the previous ones, potentially, it's like you get that kind of lack of depth, lack of storyline sort of thing, which can be, yeah, people who have been looking forward to it will pick up on that very, very quickly, I'd imagine.
It's a little bit like as if Disney have bought it. They've Disney-fied it. You know, it's kind of a little bit more child-friendly, a little bit more family-friendly. Like, they'd obviously wanted to bring in, naturally, they want to bring in new players. I mean, I think Dragon Age Inquisition came out back in like 2014. So, I mean, you know, some of these get people, you know, there's new gamers come on board, so they've got to attract a bigger audience, as big as audience as possible. So they've tried to do that. So I get where they're coming from, and I respect them in that respect. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't. I want to play more, but you know, I'll go back at another time and give it some more. But that led me to want to play like a really good story-based game. So I decided I'll start playing Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, which I'd put a few hours into that. And yeah, give that another 10 hours. Excellent game. I'm playing that again on story mode. It can still be quite difficult. You've got to do a lot of dodging. You know, you can still get taken down quite easily. It's a bit of a Dark Souls in some respects when it comes to those battles. They're not easy peasy, even unlike the story mode. But one thing, the best thing that game does, I'm not usually one for double dipping or treble dipping and all that kind of stuff. Some people will buy it on PC, they'll buy it on Xbox, PlayStation. They've got to have it on every format, you know, Nintendo. But that game encourages you to double dip because what it does, it's got cross save on it. I personally think that every single game should have cross save. They would sell more games. Cross save, I mean, is a wonderful thing. But a lot of these companies are kind of dead against it because they feel as if people will not be totally loyal to that particular ecosystem. You know, so they'll think you'll buy one on this one this month and one on Xbox next month. But yeah, that cross save, it works really well. You got to sign in. I couldn't get it to work at first. I had to watch a YouTube on it. You've got to sign in on a particular page, and then all your saves are there. In fact, it might not be all your saves. I think it's like your last save and your last auto save. I could be wrong if it keeps all the rest as well, but I know it does that, which is good. Been playing Alien Isolation, been probably playing that on and off for about 2 years. I've got about 28 hours into that. I'm currently on chapter 16. It's an amazing game.
Oh,
That game has stood the test of time, absolutely massively. That alien is an absolute pain in the neck, but it's designed to be a pain in the neck, and it is a complete pain in the neck. It can be absolutely random at times, and some of the levels I've had to spend many multiple times, you know, where he's just got you as you're just about to get in the lift and press the button and leave the level. Boom, he's just got you. So yeah, been enjoying that. And then another game I've been wanting to go back to and play again. And this infuriated me, did this, but it's an absolute mystery. I bought the original Persona 5. It came out originally. And Atlas are terrible for doing this kind of thing. What they'll do, they'll release the game and then say 18 months later, they'll release an enhanced edition called, like, this particular one is called Persona 5 Royale Edition. Mm-hmm. So the first Persona 5, I put about 30 hours into that. And you cannot transfer your save to Persona 5 Royale, and you've got to start all over again. So 30 hours in, you've got to restart the whole game, even though the game takes a full 100 hours or more to finish. So anyway, I put Persona 5 Royale in, and it doesn't really have chapters. It has months, and it has what they call palaces. And these palaces are generally ruled by some bad guy. You know, you've got to, like, take the bad guy down in, like, the palace. And then in the real world, they like lose their power in the real world.
Okay.
So I put the game on, and I was like, what? And it says I was 10 hours in, and I was on the first palace. Now, I'm absolutely certain I'd played Persona 5 Royale up to like 30 hours again, and I was pretty much where I got to in Persona 5 the first time, about 30 hours in on like Palace 4 or something. It's like a big pyramid level. So anyway, I'm like thinking, well, I've changed my console. I've gone from PlayStation 5 to a Pro. Perhaps when it's transferred across, it hasn't taken all my saves with me. I checked in the cloud because I've got PlayStation Plus. They're not up there in the cloud. It's the same thing. And so anyway, I'm like thinking, well, I must have deleted my save game or it hasn't transferred across. But the weird thing is, now I don't believe this is possible. You can't delete your old trophies, can you?
No.
On PlayStation. That's
No.
impossible, right? Okay, that's cool. So I'm getting trophies on Persona 5 Royale, which you would only get from playing those early levels. Because normally, if you replay a game, even though you replay it level 1, you don't get the trophies from level 1 if you've had the trophies before. So I'm absolutely like, I must have been living in some other dimension. It says I haven't played it since 2020. I'm 10 hours in, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I played it for another 6 hours. But yeah, fantastic game. There's so much schmoozing and stuff you got to do in that game and chatting to different people and going to different places at the right time. It is phenomenal, but it's a daunting task to replay the same 30 hours. And in my dreams, I've played 30 hours already on Persona 5 Royale. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But I've been knocking them off my list and I've been enjoying doing it too.
That's out of a month. That
You've been
really
busy.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say it's about the achievements thing quickly. Bizarrely, when I had the PS4 version of the Crew Motorfest, I literally played that to death and done everything on it. And then I got the PS5 and it's like, well, do you want to upgrade? It was like, yeah, of course I do, because it's like 4K, it looks prettier, you get the unlocked frame rate, all that kind of thing. And that did exactly the same thing. I lost no achievements. It moved my save across, so I'd done everything, but I hadn't done everything. And it was like, what? So you drive out of your thing and you do a donut and go and jump over something and suddenly go, well, that's the first achievement for the game again. And you're like, what? How? And it's like literally just driving and doing just completely null and like benign things. You're suddenly unlocking the same achievements you've already got, but it seems to be doing it for the PS5 version of it. So I don't know if it's kind of done something weird with that, where it's taken the PS4 version of Persona and then done that with the 5. I don't know, something strange like that.
The crazy thing is, they re-released it again afterwards as a PlayStation 5 version. So it's actually, even though it's a PlayStation 4, they never give you a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version. I mean, there isn't that much difference. The main difference is 30 frames or 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
But no, because I thought that it's somehow ever been played. I even have 2 accounts on the PlayStation. Because I used to do like you share your account with somebody else, and that's the account I jump onto if they were going to go on multiplayer or whatever. No, it's just not there. It's not even the PS5 version, so I'm totally confused by that.
Weird. Yeah, it's just the oldest thing playing Motorfest is like the game thinks you've completed it, but the achievements page doesn't. It's just it can't kind of put the 2 and 2 together that it knows you played the game, and therefore realistically it should know the achievements. But obviously, where they've just done that separation across the 2 versions or something, it's just totally skewed that. I mean, I'm going back. I don't mind going playing more of it if I need to. A little bit of me now is kind of frustrated and wants all the achievements again, but I don't want to throw another 30, 40 hours at it.
Exactly.
But it's strange how they don't quite tally up. The system's there, but not quite. It's a little weird.
The worst thing is cross-save, because if you get a trophy on the Xbox version, say The Witcher 3, it doesn't transfer across to your PlayStation trophies. That's one thing they haven't got figured out. But cross-save, brilliant. I wish all games were cross-save.
No, I agree. The big thing that's kind of shown how great cross-play has been Game Pass, I think, for me, with all the Xbox and PC versions of stuff. That's been fantastic. Like I play a lot of Forza, and having that on the console in the lounge if wife's working on the PC or something, or I just want to sit on the sofa and play it. Okay, it doesn't look as good on the Series S as it does on my PC, but then it's literally a matter of like 20 seconds. Yep, you're synced and you're in.
Yeah.
And it's that same, and that is the same achievements, the same play time, everything is just literally just shifted between the 2. and there's probably less games that don't have it now, to be honest with you, than the games that do have it. So it's really quite cool. They've done a fantastic job of it.
Does that work for online games as well? If you're going to go online playing, does your profile transfer across?
Yeah, I believe so. And if you're streaming it as well, it works as well. So if you log on to your online platform, you stream a game from their game streaming platform, it then just gives you everything you've been doing there as well. So it'll load up your save. It might take a little while. It's horrific for it. If it's loading the first time it loads in kind of your profile in that save game, it can be like 15 minutes or something stupid because you've done so much on it. But otherwise, it's pretty faultless, to be honest. They've done a top job.
That's really good.
I had a quick look at Amazon Luna, which you might have heard of. You know, because you get all your Amazon Prime games. Well, you can link your GOG account, you can link your Steam account, you can link the Epic account to there as well. And certain games will allow you to stream from there. So all them freebie games you've been getting on, say, GOG and Steam and all the rest of them, you know, through Prime Gaming and through Epic as well. Some of those games, you can just, if your TV's got it, or if you've got like, say, like some kind of Fire Stick attached up to your TV, you can download Amazon Luna, attach your GOG accounts and all the rest of it, put a joystick, a controller onto the Fire Stick or whatever you've got, and then you can play some of your PC games, even though you don't even have a PC. So
yeah, it's the 4K Max Fire Stick, isn't it, that allows you to have Game Pass streaming and everything like that, doesn't it? Same as Luna.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Amazing, really.
Next, we were looking at the Fire TVs for the lounge a little while ago because of the 55s for that, and the latest versions have the same thing. They all run these game streaming platforms too, which, I mean, it's probably the way that Microsoft want to go if they can get the subscription to that, and obviously they'll just charge usage rights, I can only assume, to someone like Amazon or a TV, which are the same as anyone else does. But
it is the future, really, is streaming. I mean, I think Xbox, there's a little bit of chit-chat like their next machine will be a handheld machine. And generally speaking, a lot of the heavy lifting that it's going to be doing on the big games is more than likely going to be streamed.
It makes sense. I mean,
it
gigabit
does.
Internet's like a nothing now, is it, to be honest with you? So
yeah.
And
What's the internet like in Japan, Brian? Is it very reliable? Are they top spec in Japan? Is it reasonably priced, internet, or is it like...
Yeah, it's reasonably priced. I think we're paying about 30 quid, and I've got a 2 gig up and down.
Very good.
I'm looking for
30 quid for 2 gig. Crikey.
Yeah. They're going to upgrade our area to 20 gig up and down.
Wow.
And I think it's like £4 or £5 more when you do the conversion. So I'm anxiously watching that, but I'm hoping for it because I want to get the new router. We can start using Wi-Fi 6 or 7 in the building because the apartment blocks. It's an apartment. It's got metal walls, and it just ruins Wi-Fi. Either that, or I'm gonna have to put in cable. I keep saying I'm going to put in cables and do a proper network. I keep not doing it, but I really do need to do it so I can connect everything up.
Yeah, the worst thing is the Faraday cage effect is the worst thing. So our garage is converted in the same way, and it's a metal in a shell on it. But the walls are all plasterboard and everything all built around it. But literally, you go in there with a router, and it's like, nope, dead zone. So I had to buy one of those kind of extenders in there and put it in, and now it just literally draws the internet across the house somehow, and it's working, which is nice. But it is frustrating. I totally feel your pain on that.
Yeah, the only thing, when you get to a 2 gig or 20 gig line, your laptop doesn't have a connection or your PC doesn't have a connection that'll go that fast. You know, even trying to test it is really fucking difficult to see if you have that type of speed. As far as I know, your PlayStation doesn't go above 0.1 gig, maybe 0.2. Even if you have a fast connection, they have it limited. So you can't. The PlayStation servers don't accept anything higher. So you have limits on what you can do. But yeah, I want to. It's like the PlayStation. PlayStation has a problem. It's a bit slow where I am now because of the Faraday effect. But the laptop is seriously hit. I keep losing connection. So I'm hoping if we go for Wi-Fi 6 and I go for a proper network, we'll have something a better effect here. But
so we moved to something called Hey Broadband in the UK, and they just option is like, do you want a router or do you just want a box on the wall that effectively is a fibre line into your outside of your house and deal with it? So I was like, fine, no problem. I'll just buy a nice TP-Link Wi-Fi 6 router, jam that in the middle of the house, and just run a Cat5 to that and do everything off of it. So that's what we've done. That's been faultless, really has been. If anyone listening is thinking about, hey, broadband and are on the fence about it, they have been absolutely top for a year. And the price versus someone like Virgin Media is nuts. So we're paying £24 a month for a gig line over a 2-year fix. It's just like, and Virgin were like, oh, that's £95, please, because you've got to have TV. Now you're right, bye.
Yeah, well,
it's crazy. They were brilliant for years, don't get me wrong. We had them for like 14 years across 3 properties, and they were great. And I just went out of contract, and they went up to like £70, £80, and they're like, oh yeah, we can refresh your 90. Do you understand how whole contract works? It's just like, it's meant to be cheaper, please. And I couldn't get there. The cheapest they ever got to was like £70, and that was 500 megasecond. Just forget it then, sorry. It's a shame, because I mean, I had no problem at all with them when it was actually working. It was a great connection. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got like 250 megabit, but it's enough. And I think they pay about £24 a month for that. But next time round, I probably will move away from Virgin. Our contract, I think, runs until about maybe August or something like that. But last time, as soon as you come out of your contract period, then prices, they send you the thing, it's going to be like £60 for like 250 megabits or something. You've no chance. They know, obviously, that you ring them up and you're going to debate a deal with them. But I rang up last time to debate a deal with them. And, like, normally you say, oh, I'll call you back and let you know. So you get offered like an half decent deal because you think, I'll call back tomorrow. I'll knock it down another £5 if I can. I'll debate it further from that stage. Doesn't work like that with them. Different operators, when you call them up, or it's they've got an allocation of how much they can discount for how many for various customers throughout the month. So if they've got their allocation to give a customer a discount that's just called up, they can't give you any discount. So it's like a roulette thing. You got to keep ringing them up until you get through to someone that's got some allocation there, so you can get a discount. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. The other thing they've got now as well, obviously paired up with O2, is it was kind of like, oh, we can make it like £30 a month cheaper for you if you take an O2 SIM. I'm like, well, I don't want an O2 SIM. It's like, well, what am I going to do with that? I've got a Vodafone contract, so I don't need that. It's like, oh yeah, but we'll make it cheaper if you have. No, I'm not going to buy more in order to. Yeah, it was just weird, and the conversation went around in circles for ages. But that seems to be their new tactic now for customer retention, is like make you have a SIM you don't need. Hey,
yeah, that
works for some people.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for us.
No, but hey, broadband's been decent. So that was a real sidetrack on the internet there, but that's cool. But yeah, I remember saying, reading a long time ago that Japan went like fiber for absolutely everything across Tokyo. So there was like literally everything was just super fast, and that was it. Even if you were in like a shed, effectively, you still had like a gigabit line going into it, sort of situation. So that's amazing. Like 2 gig for that much. That much, it's cool.
Yeah, the mobile signal is different. We have, I don't know, it's like maybe 3 main companies, but the prices are way higher than the UK. Back in the UK, those 3 main companies have cheaper brands underneath. So, like, I can't remember, SoftBank have their cheaper ones called Y Mobile, based off Yahoo originally. But the signal strength in places is atrocious. Even going around Tokyo, you see the signal drop. But most people here just connect to Wi-Fi in the buildings. You walk into a building, they have really fast Wi-Fi in the buildings. So as they're going around, their phones are automatically picking up the Wi-Fi in the buildings and giving them connection and speed that way. Because you just don't, a lot of the places, like even when I go to work, it's an old building. It's not got metal in the because the building shakes in the earthquakes. It shakes disturbingly. But you go in and the signal just disappears. But it's quite weird. But so mobile over here is not as good as UK, but the traditional broadband is much better over here.
Typically, Tokyo's mobile phones on their Wi-Fi list, they've got saved on their phones about 450 on there. It's just every single building in the city centre.
There's an app you can download that will automatically log you in to a load of different ones, the free services. So I've had that on my phone for a while. So when you walk into stores or cafes, it just connects to the Wi-Fi for you. So it works out quite well. But,
Fair enough. Nice. Anyway, I just realised we got very, very sidetracked there. Me and my love of the internet. Apologies. So it's all about how fast everything is. So I've got to say about my games that I've played over this month. So we said about Kena, we've all played that. I haven't quite got there. So I think, about 75-80% through it, but I've absolutely loved it as well. Agree, it's been kind of a great storyline. It looks great. It plays well. A few little limiting factors, but I've enjoyed playing it. I may see if I can finish that this weekend if I have time around the garden and stuff and doing some painting, but we'll see. Other than that, versus what I've been like, well, last year and the first couple of months of the year where I was just hammering through things and I kind of had a game plan. I think I was so fixated on so many different things that my gameplay style ended up in the same boat. So it was very much a pinball off of stuff when I played it. So I've got a list here of what I played. So Dirt Showdown, if you remember that years ago, it was kind of a weird knockoff of Dirt 3, and they tried to make it like a Wreckfest / Destruction Derby style game. Actually really good, but not a lot of people know about it. And I think it got delisted about 6-7 years ago. I think they lost the license to some of the stuff on there, or maybe the music or something. So I've been playing that, and now I'll probably, I think, one championship away from finishing that. For some weird reason, I reinstalled the original Grid from like the early 2000s, and
Oh wow!
that's now been patched and runs faultlessly on the Steam Deck, which is just awesome. So I've been playing that at like everything on maximum at 90 frames a second. It showed its age. It is like the greasy smudge era of Codemasters game engines, where everything had that kind of weird haze to it, but still a very playable game and a lot of fun. Sadly, my save games disappeared because I thought games for Windows was that long ago. But I started playing that on the plane on the way to America, which then brought me to download Grid 2. My save game does exist for that, and I'm 7 or 8 hours into it. So then I started playing that as well. So this is kind of going nowhere fast on the completion side of things. What else we got? BioShock Remastered. That's been kind of a thing I've loved going back to. I remember playing that a long, long time ago, and the deck again has the power to run that, everything maxed out, 90 frames a second. And I had about 3 people who decided to get up for a walk on the plane, who were literally just stood over my back watching me playing it for about 20 minutes. And he just turned around and he was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Oh, it's great that." I'm like, "Okay, thanks. I'm just going to keep playing now." As just electrocuting people and setting them on fire. Enjoy it, man. That's fine. So that's been great. I think we're about 2-3 hours into that. For my sins, I used to really, really love the Tony Hawk's games when I was at college, and I had them on the PS1 and the PS2 and the GameCube and things. And I went back to the 1 and 2 remasters and realised I'm a very old man and can't play that game anymore. I can't stop playing it. It's like I'm terrible at it, but it's really, you forget how great they were as games, and they're not the limiting factor. The limit is just how fast I can move my fingers in order to pull off a stunt without breaking my neck, I think is the issue. So I think I've got 80-90% probably through Tony Hawk's 1. I've got one more level on it. I've managed to get that. But 2 is just destroying me, and I can't unlock the next level. But they've been quite fun. We're down to Kev, who did the Year of Shame last year, and two friends I used to work with as work colleagues. We've done a Formula 1 23 championships of the full season, because that was on. We had that available to us at Game Pass at the start of the year. So we started playing that. I think we're on round 21 or 22 out of 24 now. So we've nearly finished that. So that'll actually be something I've completed. I think there is an achievement for doing a full season in single and multiplayer. So that might be the 2 big things on unlock. But I'm 100 points clear at the top of the table on that. So that's sorry guys to be showing off about that online if you're listening. But
just rub it in. Go on.
Finals, which was my Joker last year. It was a free game, but I ended up playing that with friends online, and we've gone back to that. It's season 6 now, I think it is. People have got very, very good. I've had a bit of a break from it, so I need to catch back up now. Unfortunately, people are a lot better than me, but that's pretty cool. I found myself diving back into Gran Turismo 7 purely for fun again now at the moment as well. So I think the last month they've released cars that no one really wanted, I don't think, but there's like a Toyota Hiace van, a Renault Kangoo van, and an old Renault 4. So I've just been tuning those up and racing. But literally, you've gone to any multiplayer lobbies at the moment, everything is just Kangoo racing. So it's just loads of like quick fit vans and like auto glass vans and stuff, which is absolute genius. Yeah, it takes away the kind of, oh, I'm playing it because it's a race simulator. I seen that video earlier on as well of the over Volkswagen Beetle done up as Herbie, for instance. I mean, it's just people driving like nutters on it.
It looked very cool, I have to admit.
I tried playing Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown again, giving it another shot after they've put about another 38 patches into it. It's kind of okay now. So I tried that one. That's gone back to the back of the list. I think I just can't deal with it. When you play something like Forza instead, you realise quite how limited it is as a game versus other titles, which is a shame because it looked great before it was released and all the videos look good. But I think as much support as they're throwing it, Nacon, whatever they're called, just can't quite get there. It's just the failings are embedded quite deep into the game, I think, as than the actual how it was built. I think that was it. So it's an absolute horde of games, but I haven't really completed anything. So I owe the world some completions, I think, as part of the time-honored fashion for this year. Other than that, I've watched my family play lots of Fae Farm on multiplayer. My daughter and my wife have been playing that for lots of hours, probably into 60-odd hours between them now, which is great. They don't play games sort of that much. My daughter loves Splatoon and she'll spend days on that, but to watch them playing it as kind of co-op multiplayer is really quite nice. So that's different to the usual sort of RPG stuff that we used to play beforehand. But yeah, that's me on games, to be honest with you. Board games and stuff. We played a few bits and bobs. I've got back into D&D with my friends. There's an escape room you can buy, a game with that comes with a mobile phone app called Unlock, which one of my friends bought the kids for Christmas. We've been playing those like an hour. But they sort of range. You get like a base storyline and it builds up with a different difficulty. But quite frankly, the first one beat us, but good fun. Sort of you can play it past the hour and you can turn the timer off. But there's different stuff like someone trying to take over the world in kind of a Pinky Lane style and stuff like that. So it's all kind of child-based stories, but it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we've been playing those. So I know you guys been doing anything board game wise or not?
No, I haven't.
Quite frankly, Paul, I'm surprised you have time for anything else this month. So
No, no, I don't really play a lot of board games. We used to go out and have a games night where we used to play a lot of what they call that game everyone plays with the different colours. What is it called? Everyone knows it. You know, you kind of got like these colours and you got to like put the different colours down. What's it called? Oh, I'm terrible for trying to remember. It's a famous card game. We used to play a lot of that. And the other one way, yeah, that's it. Keno. What did you call it again? Sorry.
Uno, isn't it? Is that right?
Uno, that's it. Yeah, Uno. That's it. I used to play loads of Uno, which is actually quite good in a group of four of you. Sat around in like, say, like a pub sort of place. It's a pretty good game, actually. We used to play that other one where you had to pull out all the insults. What is it? Something Against Humanity.
Oh, yeah, Cards Against Humanity, yeah.
Cards Against Humanity. We used to play that kind of thing and a few others. There were some kind of train game thing that we'd play as well, where you had to like build a train line.
Oh, yeah, I've got friends who play this. Ticket to Ride?
Ticket to Ride, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to play games like that, but we don't do it now. They've had kids now. So they're sort of like their Sunday nights are what their Sunday nights used to be. They can't just escape on an evening anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can't just leave the kid at home. You can't take them to the pub either, really, not that time of night that we used to play on a Sunday evening. So, but yeah, I do quite like playing card games and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, just don't really play them these days.
It's a shame. It's a nice break from the screen. It's the kind of what we do it for, I think. Otherwise, we would. My kids love computer games, which I'm over the moon with, but it's a nice break for us. I think that's why we play so many of them when we get a chance.
Well, it's a perfect time. And if you've got a family, they are the best sort of games to play. You're going to interact. Everyone's going to be together. It's a proper family event. It's a board game, especially if they all enjoy playing it. It can be very competitive, etc. It can all be excellent fun.
No, I agree entirely. Definitely so. Yeah. So what's the other thing I was going to ask about? I was kind of got sidetracked me talking about unlocked games and stuff. Movies wise, I know you guys are TV buffs than I am on that. We sort of spoke about it last month quite a lot. So I mean, from my perspective, I literally watched some bad films on the plane, and that was it. So I end up, it's like all the things you have on a plane, terabytes of film through the screen in the back of the seat, and I watched the original Bad Boys, the original Batman with Michael Keaton in it, because I absolutely love that film. I tried to watch the new Beetlejuice movie and got about 25 minutes in and thought, nah, you're okay.
Oh,
And of all things, Pharrell Williams, the musician, he's done a biopic about himself, and the whole thing is made out of Lego. So I end up watching that on the plane. I end up watching that on the plane as well, and that's really quite fun.
That's novel.
Yeah, exactly. It's unexpected sort of thing. It's like I can't sleep because I'm on a plane, so this feels like something I could probably just get involved in, watching Lego people telling me about life.
Very good.
Yeah, but that's pretty much me. When I'm terrible, we end up with just watching stuff like Sort Your Life Out with Stacey Solomon, a TV.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of like, it's like, I feel better about your life now. It's great. So that's the stuff we end up watching, like mindless dinner time television. Yeah, I mean, what have you guys been watching? Anything more nice, better than that?
You want to go, Paul?
I've been watching loads of things. I've watched some really good films, actually. I watched one called Sing Sing, which is, you may know, as a prison in America called Sing Sing, which is meant to be quite a bad prison. And the film is all about some guys in the prison who are prisoners, and they actually, as part of their rehabilitation sort of program, they can take part in this prison program where they can all do like acting, and they have to put it on for like the rest of like the prisoners. And it's not just it's actually based on like a true story. This thing really does happen over there. It's not just something someone has made up. And the film is actually really good. It touches on a lot of points. The main character is in prison and is found, you know, like most prisoners, and generally sort of saying, well, I didn't do it. But this guy's like, comes across as the guy that really hasn't done it. And they finally found some kind of evidence to try and get him out after, say, you know, X amount of years. He might have been in there, say, 15 years or something. And he gets kind of declined for his parole because obviously he won't admit that he's done anything wrong, because to get your parole, you kind of got to like suggest that I understand what I did was wrong. But if you're not going to, you know, if you're trying to fight what you didn't do anything to begin with, well, then it's all like a bit, you know, grinds against each other. And yeah, fantastic film, really enjoyed it. And at the end, they kind of show you some of these real life performances that have done in prison, and they are fantastic. And actually you realise that some of the people that were actually in the film are actually ex-prisoners that are acting within the film. And they were all fantastic. Yeah, it was really good. I watched another film which was called Mickey 17, which is the new one with the guy Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies. It's a good film. Yeah, it's an interesting film. I thought the first hour was best part about it. It's very much like the Bruce Willis film in its quirkiness. What they call that Bruce Willis sci-fi film, where the woman, she's like all dressed. Yeah, where she's dressed up in like the bandages. You know, like that weird quirkiness. It has that element of that odd, off-the-wall quirkiness. I'll say it's worth watching. I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it personally, but I did enjoy it. I watched the 3 hours and 21-minute epic, The Brutalist, which is the guy that was in The Piano. Basically, he's like an immigrant, comes across to America. This thing won Oscars. I think it won about 5 Oscars or something this time round. And he's an architect, but he's like come over he was a big architect, but due to the war, he's come over to America. He's like considered as a bit of a nobody. He ends up doing some work on this guy's house, and he's quite a powerful, influential guy. And things go on from there, really. He designs a lot of things for him. And the film is 3 hours and 21 minutes long. And it genuinely, in the cinema, it has a toilet break in it, because it is that long.
That is a monster. That really is.
It
That's
is a
kind
monster
of like
film.
Lord of the Rings grade length of film.
Absolutely. And I didn't realise, but the name Brutalist, I thought Brutalist must obviously mean like, that's kind of like this guy's nickname, you know, because maybe his designs are very concrete looking and very straight lines, but he was well ahead of his time. When he was making these buildings, I thought the Brutalist meant it was like his buildings look brutal, but Brutalist actually means concrete. So
yeah,
Yeah, it was a style, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Brutalism, yeah, if I remember rightly, yeah.
but really enjoyable. You probably want to watch it in two sessions, really, and it does lend itself. There's plenty of places where you could say, "Well, hold on a minute, I've had a real chunk here. I could quite easily pause this and I can go back tomorrow and finish that." There's not a lot of action scenes in it. It's like big full-on scenes. So yeah, I watched that. I watched another really good film as well called Novocaine, which is about a guy. He can feel absolutely zero pain. It's set in the modern time. He works at a bank. Um, he's generally in his spare time. He enjoys playing video games with his online buddy. And it's a bit of a sort of comedy, sort of action film. Basically, with him working at the bank gets robbed. And the girl that he likes who works at the bank, she gets kidnapped. I won't go any deeper into it, Matt, because there's a lot of twists and turns. But I've seen a lot of action films in my time, and I've seen a lot of gruesome scenes as well. I don't mind watching a horror film and all the rest of it. And a lot of them, you look and you think, man, yeah, I get it. That was pretty bad. But this film, honestly, some of the pain scenes in it, and some of the things, and the way that his body gets contorted, because the way they attack him, I mean, they're literally just they're hammering him to death in certain parts. And action, there's one bit where he gets his fist and he covers it. He ends up covered in glass, and he's punching the guy in the face, with his hands covered in shards of glass. It made me wince. And I've seen so many films. There's not very many films that I can say that have made me want to look away and go, wow, that really was bad. So yeah. So those are the films I've watched, but I've watched loads of TV as well. I won't go too deep into that, but one of the things that's just started again is Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother. One of the guys that's in there, honestly, I quite like it. Some seasons I'll put it on and I'm a bit like, yeah, I can't get on with these guys. I'm not interested. But this is an interesting bunch. They have revamped Celebrity Big Brother, so it isn't just like season 29, just chuck anybody in there. They've actually got Mickey Rourke in there. You might know
Yeah, I
Mickey
saw
Rourke.
that. Yeah, he's been pretty inappropriate, hasn't he? Like, since the second he got there.
But do you know what? I mean, obviously, I'm of a certain age, and Brian's a similar age, and you're back, you're in your 40s, so you understand sometimes you're at an age where what you might consider appropriate is inappropriate. Now, would have been appropriate is no longer inappropriate. And it does sink in eventually, you've got to give that one up, you know what I mean? Put that one to bed, ignore, don't go there. But, these younger people have to kind of remember this guy. I mean, he's seen it all, really. He used to be a boxer. He's been a fantastic actor. And, he's like, he's a rough, tough sort of guy, really. And they're not giving him enough he's saying some things which he shouldn't say, but based on his age, I can understand where he's coming from, but they should give him a little bit more slack, really. But he's making the show interesting, if nothing else. I think they'll try to vote him out as soon as possible. And
it's getting votes, it's getting viewers now, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah. Some of the comments he made about a young lady in there, she's a YouTuber, and she doesn't deny or hide the fact it's part of her persona. She is gay or whatever. And his comment was one of the comments he made was along the lines of, "You won't be gay for much longer with me in here, I'll show what a real man's all about," sort of thing. And it just went,
like find a hole to go and hide in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it all just went mad from there, really. But I think he's just him being him. You can tell he's not all there because, they talk about the phrase being like punch drunk. Well, he actually did boxing in his younger days, did his acting, and went back to boxing. And you can just tell he's, you know what I mean? He's not a full
knocked about.
Yeah, he is punch drunk, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. That's what they're meant to call it. That's his brain is punch drunk. He's had that many knocks to the head. So I'm not going to justify it, but what I will say is obviously that that lady has said that she's gay, she's YouTuber, she's a really cool character. She comes along as bright and breezy and very likable, etc. But if he comes out of any sort of stuff like that, the audience, if you ever watch Big Brother, like they have a show afterwards that they chat about the show before I can't remember what they call it, Big Brother, Little Brother. I can't remember, but they might not call it that anymore. Just Big Brother, the after show. Well, the audience is generally made up of what appears to be, but it's not appears to be. It's, they are he seems to have a very big gay following as Big Brother in general. So he's absolutely zero chance of winning because he's alienated probably a good 50% of the audience before he's even begun. So no one's voting him to stay in. So, but yeah, I find him interesting. But I love one of his films, Angel Heart. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Angel Heart with Robert De Niro.
No, I remember his one earlier. He looks so much different now to what he did when I was his acting.
Oh man, listen, he plays a detective in that. And what a film that is. If I was ever going to suggest you watch any Mickey Rourke films, watch Angel Heart. That is a stunning film. And Robert De Niro.
He's the bunny?
Yeah. Well, all sorts happens in that, right? Have you seen the film?
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of. There's a lot of conclusions at the end of that film. You know what I mean? Some of the things he gets up to and all the rest of it. I mean, that is a fantastic detective story. And Robert De Niro's fantastic in it as well. So, yeah. So I've been watching that. I've watched all kinds of stuff. I tell you what's a good new show that's just come on. One called The Studio, which is with Seth. I think, is it Seth Johnson or Seth Green? I can't remember his name. So in a minute. And basically, it's a comedy. It's the guy from... what's his name now? Seth Rogen. Sorry, that's it. Seth Rogen. And it's a little bit like Ted Danson's Man in the Middle in that respect. It's kind of like all quite incidental. Basically, he becomes the head of a Hollywood studio. The first one is every one of them seems to have like a bit of a top guest star in it. And in the first one, it's Martin Scorsese. He's in it. Wow. And it's all like behind the scenes, like all smoozing each other and putting this idea that but it's a comedy. And I will say it's well worth watching. It's an Apple TV thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched all kinds of things. I watched The Adolescents, that one about the kid that goes and stabs the girl, that's been big at the moment. I've been watching loads of stuff. What have you been watching, Brian?
Let me see. I watched season 3 of Reacher, which is based on Lee Child's books.
Mm-hmm.
What can I say? It was better than the second season, but it's fast becoming very tiring. So I don't know if I'll go for season 4 if they actually make one. I've started watching season 3 of Dark Winds, and that's not some type of euphemism, but I'm only 2 episodes into that one. It's more of the same. It's quite good. It's basically Native American cops, and they're catching bad people, and I'm not just MAGA people, but genuine bad people anyway. I've started watching the new Daredevil show, and it's sort of reminded me of why I wasn't unhappy when the last Daredevil show finished. So I don't think I'll go any further with that. I've been watching. Have you watched The Wheel of Time? Do you know that show?
No,
it's based on some fantasy books by Robert Jordan. There's maybe 14 books in the series, and he wrote 11 of them. He died. He took ages to write them, but he died after the 11th one, and somebody, Sanderson, finished off the series. But they're doing that now as a show. I think it's been renewed for the 4th season or the next season. I watched a really old anime called Ghost in a Shell. I had watched it before, but I had no idea what was going on. But I rewatched this, and I came away really impressed. I thought it was a really good show. I had a free weekend, and it happened to be a bad weekend for me as well. So I got all set up to play games, and then I ended up watching the 5 Bourne movies, one after the other. So 3 one day, 2 the next day, and then I thought, what else can I watch? And I watched Will Smith's Enemy of the State. So I don't know what it says about my state of mind, but I watched all of those.
That was a good film, though. That was decent. I remember that a long time ago, but it was a good one.
Yeah. I think Gene Hackman had just died, or was so that probably made me think of that movie. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I like him in that movie. This past weekend, I decided last weekend I had some free time. I decided let's play more games, and I ended up on my laptop clearing through the music I have on my laptop. So I had 70 gigs worth of data of songs. I'm now down to 35 or so gig of data, 34. I've checked out loads of. I had the entire collection of Bob Dylan. I don't really like Bob Dylan. Listened to it, some of it, and just thought, no, why am I storing all this? I deleted loads of it. So. But I'm clearing it out all off now. I'm finding it hard to focus on games. But that's basically what I've been watching. Yeah, that's about it. What I've watched and what I've listened to. I've tried to set up. I use on my laptop. I use a program called Media Monkey to play and look after the library. And I found that they have a mobile phone version, and you can get one to sync to the other. So that's been I decided, why not do that now? So after I've been clearing the music, I'm going to try and set it up to sync to both my phones, and hopefully that'll work.
Yeah,
that's
cool. Okay.
Just to keep my mind occupied. That's a hobby.
That's a good plan. I mean, it still sounds more productive month as far as watching stuff. I mean, there's a classify watching the original Batman is a good thing, which I do. So I guess the next big important question is: has anybody crumbled? Has anyone bought anything that you shouldn't have bought this month? We've had 6 weeks to do it this time rather than 4. So
I've been good. I haven't bought anything. Normally spent no gifts, no nothing. So I'm good so far. No cheating bastard.
No cheating bastard this end either. No. That's good. I mean, there's so much stuff out there keeps this, like, you walk past like stores or you see things online and it's like, really fancy that. I mean, I think the big one for me has been Game Pass. They just keep putting stuff on there at the minute I want to play. I know we've already discussed stuff like South of Midnight, Atom Falls on there, Avowed's on there, of course. Everyone keeps on that Ballato, whatever it was, the card game. Everyone I talk to, Ballato, I say everyone I talk to has been playing it. They've done a remaster of the Commandos games, which has come straight to Game Pass as well, which I know is a release this month.
Oh wow!
And they were great. I love those. There's so many like games out there at the minute that are coming out there. And there's that 2D platformer, like a almost like 16-bit Terminator game that I sent you the trailer to, and it was almost like a pixel art side-scrolling shooter, but it's based on the T2 film. I was like, it's amazing as well. I'm trying to ignore the fact that exists at the moment and stay away from it all. So, I mean, fair play to us all on not buying anything. It's been tricky this month.
Yeah. No, it's been quite a good month. Split Fiction is out now, and I wouldn't mind playing that.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it's one game I'm really, really feeling tempted to play.
Well, Shadows
set here, yeah. And Stuart Ramage, we were talking about earlier, he's playing that currently, and he's been telling me how good it is. He's been running around temples that he went when he was in Kyoto. He saw some temples, and they've been running around the temples in the game. So I really want to give that a go. But there was a whole lot of media coverage I saw on like the Western media about damaging the temples. And everybody in Japan was worried about it. And I didn't hear anything about it here until my wife came to me about 3 days ago and said it's on the news about this game where you can go around and you can damage temples. So it's actually become a thing here where they're annoyed with Ubisoft. But I thought Ubisoft took that out a day or two afterwards. They put a patch through.
They patched it out.
I don't know if it's still there. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, that's a big level of sort of disrespect almost, isn't it? I guess to the way that we've seen, which is, thank goodness they've sorted it out. It's something they really need to.
A number of the temples have now banned foreigners from going in, or banned tourists in general. So even Japanese tourists are banned from going to the temples. So you can only go to the temple if you're actually going to pray. Right. The one that, what was it? Tsushima? There was...
Yeah.
From that game, there was a temple there that got loads of money because everybody they played the game, became really interested in the area and went and they visited the temple. And they've now started cutting back on allowing people in, even though they got loads of funding from a game. But they've started cutting back on letting people in because they've damaged the area or being disrespectful. So quite weird.
Somebody doesn't understand is walking around on kind of the areas they should, all those kind of things. But it's amazing how like a game can do that to a degree, though, which is it's interesting. Like you make it that close to reality, and I think GTA is a big example for that, isn't it? With like LA, we even made T-shirts for the show we went to this year. With the back on it was kind of a play on LA being GTA sort of thing, but with our products and stuff on it. So I mean,
no, it's quite cool. But I think is the first Berserker out now? The first Berserker Kazan. I want to play that. I've heard good things about it.
I played the demo of that. Because
You
it was
did?
on it's on PlayStation Premium. You can play the demo, so I put the demo on because it's part of I can play PlayStation Premium stuff. I haven't really played a lot of stuff, and that's one of the reasons of having the PlayStation Premium is for demos and for stuff that might take advantage of the PlayStation Pro, etc. And I put it on for I put it on for about an hour or so. And what I will say is that yes, it's a very, 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 very good Dark Souls game. But it is a Dark Souls game. So what I can say, I've got plenty of other games to counter to play that. But it looks like a very well done Dark Souls game. If you're into Dark Souls, then you game on for sure.
March 27th apparently was the release date. Yeah, so it's been out a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you've got two other games. I'm really interested in South of Midnight, which looks stunning, and it's not available on PlayStation, so I can't.
That solves that issue.
I can't. I can't get that. And then Blueprints, which just came out. Today is Saturday, so it came out Thursday, I think. Okay. And that's a puzzle game. That's free on PlayStation the day one, but it's you've been, as far as I know, you've received an inheritance of a house, and there's like 44 rooms in the house, and the whole thing is to try and find the 45th room. And you go into, you start off in one room, and then you have to make the blueprints, PRINTS, of the game, and of the house, and you pick what room connects to that room, and keep trying to further and further to explore it. But the game is called Blueprints, PRINCE. I'm not sure why it's Prince rather than Prince, but it's supposed to be really good. Jason Schreier he's not IGN, I don't know what website he's on or what newspaper he's with, but he does Triple Click podcast. He's been raving about it for 2 or 3 months.
Cell shaded. I have to admit, I haven't looked at it, but it looks like the whole engine is kind of a cell shaded, half cartoon style of thing, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
cool.
No, it looks quite good, but I'd like to try that. The games I've missed from come out.
Isn't it some kind of roguelike as well? So you'll
yes.
keep going back to square one.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's a roguelike. The important part of it, what the game is like. But yeah,
which could make it really, 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 really interesting or incredibly frustrating, depending how tough those puzzles are. But yeah, it does look really good. I like shell shaded graphics. Because it reminds me a bit of Borderlands-y sort of graphics. I like that kind of graphic style. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it. I probably should have a nosy at it, especially if it's day one thing that's being talked about.
There's one other game called Sorry We're Closed. I think it's a horror game. The graphics look really retro, but it's supposed to be extremely good. And that's out at the moment, out recently. I'd love to give that a go, but it's a really weird looking game. If anybody's interested in horror games or odd games.
I was just nosing through all the other stuff that's kind of out this last month as well. So we've got 2 Points Museum. I've got 2 or 3 2 Points games I haven't started. So that makes me stay away from those. There's the obligatory WWE game for the year. Rise of the Ronin is that last month or was that end of last month, wasn't it? I think that came out.
Oh, that was released on PC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was PlayStation last year.
He got a bad launch, which seems to happen with a lot of PC big titles. They have a bad launch these days. There always seems to be a lot of compatibility issues, running really slow, people complaining left, right, and centre. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Really, I think it's potentially because these games originally started off on console. They just don't port across for some reason as well.
The weirdest thing is with that the PlayStation 5 and an Xbox are pretty much just an AMD Ryzen PC now. They brought everything closer together, managed to mess them up more. So you're basically getting a PlayStation with unlimited resources to a degree, and then kind of making a mess of it. It's a strange kind of catch-22. It's a weird paradox of kind of, well, that shouldn't be doing that. You should be being able to make it better. It's like effectively you're having a PS5 Pro and a bit from the get go sort of thing to build this on, and still struggle with it. It's a weird thing. It really is.
Well, the PC, they anticipate you're going to brute force the game to work in the respect of, go buy a bigger graphics card, go buy a bigger processor. If it's running slow, it's all brute force, which is what I like about consoles, is that they're generally optimized very well to play very well. They use their limited resources, but everything is the same almost amongst the systems. So they can tweak it and make it good, like the good old days, like the Spectrum game, surely, where, that was your system. And then, do your best.
That's what you had, yeah, exactly. No such thing as a DLC or a post-launch update or anything. It's like it worked or it didn't, basically. Yeah.
Do you know Joysticks and Chill podcast?
I know of it.
Yeah. Jay is currently playing The Last of Us on PC. And he's been just talking about the fact that they don't really transfer well. It's been crashing constantly on him. But he's found a fix, which is to set the FPS to limit it to 60 FPS. And he can't, it works for him. But because his PC can play The Last of Us well beyond. But he has to limit it for the game to work.
The game engine can't hack over 60 FPS, basically.
Which is very sad.
When you play a PC game, I can be playing a PC game, and if I'm watching if I notice it drop below 60 frames per second, it starts to do my head in. I start tweaking with all the settings, and I spend more time tweaking with the settings than I do playing the game. Whereas on a console, if it drops a little bit in frame rate, you think, well, there's not what I can do about that. Just keep playing it. What you're going to do?
Well, they have that active thing now, don't they? So they're kind of the tailoring of the frame rate sort of thing. So it drops the resolution, doesn't it, passively in the background slightly and brings it back to 60, which, I mean, same as anything else. Same as the bloody DLSS stuff, isn't it, and everything.
Speaking of which, the frame rate drop, that happens. I haven't seen it happen for a long time in games. But that Miasma Chronicles, the 4X game that I've been playing, it happens occasionally, and it's not in the middle of battle where there's lots of characters. It just happens every so often. Everything will just judder. I've been really weird. I haven't seen it since I stopped playing on PC. It's very odd just to feel it playing on PlayStation because it's usually just on the PlayStation 5, just a regular one. Everything usually plays smoothly. But this Miasma Chronicles, it seems to, I don't know if it's loading in maps in the background or something, but it judders and starts dragging for a bit and feels really odd. But
that was the whole point of the fast storage, wasn't it, on the consoles and everything, was to stop that happening. But I know if it's loading huge chunks of data, maybe could well be that.
I have noticed with the PlayStation, and you can add an M.2 drive to it. Mm-hmm. If you have stuff on the M.2, the game doesn't play as well as if it's on the actual the onboard, and it should be the same. Maybe it's my drive isn't good.
Well, they do
take it out and defrag it or something.
As you know, it's got to be a particular speed for it to work in that M.2 slot. Otherwise, there were a lot of controversy about it at the time. So I think mine's something like 4.6, whatever you meant to have, but it's meant to be like 5. I can't remember what the speed term is for some reason. But whatever it is, mine's slightly under. I don't notice any games do anything unusual, etc. But yeah, I mean, in my PlayStation 4 Pro, I put an SSD drive in that as its main drive. In the original PlayStation 4, it made no difference then, but in the PlayStation 4 Pro, it did take advantage of the faster access times on the SSD drive.
It was the SATA connection in the PlayStation 4 1 was still like a SATA 2 or something stupid. So a 5400 RPM drive, which is slug pace, was fine.
It made no difference. Even if you put an SSD drive in, but on the Pro, it did make a difference.
Yeah, I think it's you have to have 400 megahertz or something. You got gigabit per second. You got to have the M2, because I bought one to go in mine, and it was I can't remember what that was, like 5,000 or 6,000. It was like, this is PS4 rated. You're like, okay, great. I mean, it works fine, but I'm assuming you're not going to see a lot of drop anyway unless you're playing highly intensive games. But I mean, they're fairly decent price now anyway. It's the WD Blacks they normally recommend or something, isn't it now? Something like that.
Well, 2 terabits now was about £100-ish, maybe 110. They've come down nicely, but like you can obviously get cheaper ones that might not be quite up to them speeds. And there's quite a lot of different technology in them M2 drives. I can't remember they're different, but some of them, even though it might say it's a fast speed, some of them don't have a particular chip on there, like a buffer chip. Can't
Yeah.
remember what it is.
Yeah.
I can't remember the terms,
NAND,
but
isn't
yeah,
it? NAND or whatever
yeah,
it is.
they have different,
Yeah.
they have different sort of technologies on there.
Yeah, you can sit and spend, as with anything on a PC, you can spend like 12 months trying to understand what the actual spec is between two things and then never really work out what it is.
Yeah,
And then they brought something out new.
Yeah, I've got
Go
a
on.
PC. I haven't even put my regular PC together. I mean, I took my old PC to part a bit ages ago, and sold most of the parts of it. But I haven't even put my new system together. I've got the motherboard, the nice case, etc. But I just haven't got the urge because there's nothing to do. It's like when I do my recording, I'm just using one of my test systems that I use. This is my 12, 13, 14th Intel processor for testing the processors and for testing the DDR5 RAM. And, this is just quite simply it hasn't even got its side panel on there. I've had no incentive to play any games on PC. Absolutely zero games. I'm just PS4, Steam. In fact, the Steam Deck, I'm playing Isolation, Alien Isolation on the Steam Deck. It runs fantastically. That is perfect for back catalogue games in particular. It's like I want to play Mad Max. I want to finish Mad Max. An excellent game. Yeah, and some of the game you were playing on the plane, I want to go back. The first one I finished. What they call it, the underwater game. You was playing it on the plane.
Bioshock.
Bioshock, yeah. I didn't finish 2, but there again, I'm probably like a good 80% of the way through on both of them.
I have to admit, I've played about probably half of my game time. Kenya's been on the Steam Deck. I can't believe that ran that.
Mm-hmm.
That was 35, 40 FPS, but runs absolutely fine. It's not the 60 you get on my main rig, obviously, and it doesn't look quite as pretty. You have to run it like medium-ish settings. But it's been absolutely perfect. Wonderful game. So I took my son to martial arts last week for an hour or so. Sat there and ploughed through it, just sat in the waiting room outside and sort of. Yeah, one's absolutely great. It's one of those games you'd think it would really struggle. Very, very good.
Perhaps it did initially on its initial release, but that game is obviously now been out a little while. And the good thing is with that Steam Deck, it can mess about with all the FSR settings and all the rest of it. So you can play with them settings. And plus, if you're playing it actually I play the Steam Deck usually in the bedroom on the TV. If I'm sat outside, I'll play it on the screen. But yeah, I mean, you can play around with them settings enough, and it's just a nice, comfortable side screen. You're not going to notice if it were in 4K or 720p, really.
No.
So
exactly that.
you won't be able to tell the difference.
No, exactly that. It's a great tool. I mean, even the stuff that's coming out over the next few months, I'm wondering. I've got my Xbox streaming and stuff on it. I'm going to probably end up playing more of that and my Game Pass catalogue that I can play this year through that because I've got it all working. After you said about the 2 apps. Brilliant. So it's the same. I can't play alpha stuff, but
yeah, then 2 apps. I mean, you can play your PlayStation on it, you can play your Xbox on it. You've already got Xbox and PlayStation. Well, PlayStation Portal or whatever they've got, a portable or whatever they call it. That'd normally give me FOMO as if I should have one of them, but I don't need one. The Steam Deck does it. You just don't really need it. So yeah,
top piece of kit, really is.
It is.
So we go. So hang on, going back to that. What's happening this coming month as far as news and stuff? I've got to open another page here. I was reading in the background. So the ones I've got noted down here. Sand, if anyone's heard of that, which is a player versus enemies extraction game in the middle of a desert, and you end up as steampunk-inspired walking war machines, and they get used as customizable bases and vehicles. Okay. It looks a little bit Mad Max-esque, is what it looks like, meets steampunk. But yeah, I've got a few. That's apparently April 3rd, so it's already been released. So I don't know if anyone knows more about that than us, but I'll have to look up after this. So that's come out this month. We talked about it earlier on Commando's Origins. That's out this month and is on Game Pass, which is going to be pretty cool. That's amazing. Those are really good, like classic games from like Windows 5/XP era, isn't it? I think from those, but. They're great.
Yeah, I like the Commando games.
Yeah, they were great. Really, really good games. We got Last of Us again, whatever that one was. It Last of Us 2 remaster, whatever that one is. Is that the
TV
unlocked?
show, is it tonight
Yeah.
or tomorrow? It starts season 2. Or yeah. I think it's on, isn't it? I'll have to go looking for that.
It's a TV show I'd like to kind of watch, but I'm pretty confident, although I haven't really asked around, etc., that if you've played the game, you've pretty
Yeah.
much seen the TV show. And the game might have taken me 20 odd hours to do. So I'm not sure what the TV show offers, really.
It's been very good. I have to admit, I haven't watched it, but yeah, I know people who have played all the games and said they really enjoy watching. Obviously, it is, say, following the same way that life works. You have to assume it will be following that same path line, but I don't 100% know. But what else we got? Talos Remastered Unreal 5 Edition. So Talos, is it?
Talos, I think. Yeah. I liked the first game.
Are they RTX'd it or something?
Unreal 5 engine, apparently. So that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty in the screenshot I've seen from it anyway. That's not one I've ever played, I have to admit. But I don't know what the actual storyline was behind that.
I think you were a robot with self-awareness, and you were just trying to investigate the world, what happened to humans who've been there beforehand. It's like set really far in the future. I think it was.
Okay.
I finished it, but I don't really remember much.
That was it, yeah. Test your skills and problem solving, flexibility, puzzle editor, creations of the players. Yeah. Feels that way a little bit. Oh, interesting. I think it's one of those games, actually, if I was looking through my Steam library, I imagine it's probably in there. Embarrassing. Don't know.
That's
what else we got? Claire Obscure, that Expedition 33. That's
supposed to be quite good.
Well.
People are looking forward to that. Not my type of game, but it is supposed to be quite good.
Yeah. There's a There's a Mandragora. I think it's called Whisper of the Witch Tree, which comes out on the 17th. Which is a 2.5D action RPG, blends Metroidvania exploration with Souls-like combat. Looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit like a Castlevania meets Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh. Is the honest thing I can say from it.
That sounds good. Good mix.
Yeah, that's avoidable cost at this point, right? That's fairly decent. And the last one on there, surprisingly, this is how much I've kind of been out of the curve this year, which has been great. I haven't been following stuff too intently. There's a new Fatal Fury game. If anyone's ever played Fatal Fury, the old Neo Geo 2D beat 'em ups that were years ago, really, really old games.
Sort to remember them.
And they've made a new one.
Played them on Mega Drive, I think.
Yeah, they went through a phase of having 3D ones, and they've gone back to kind of, again, 2D one. It looks really nice.
Oh, no.
I need to avoid that. I love a 2D beat 'em up. That's not good. Okay, that doesn't exist until, I don't know, December 31st. It can go away. So yeah, that's all the ones. That's the ones I put down for, like, this month. I've kind of flicked through releases. This month / last month were huge. So I mean, you could go through them forever. I think there was a list of about 30 or 40 games. I think
Indiana Jones is eventually coming to PlayStation 5 this month. Coming, so it's supposed to be.
Really?
It's supposed to be good, but I don't know. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
very good.
Again, it's one that's sat on Game Pass going, leave me alone. I don't want to.
Yeah, iRobot is coming out, which is based on an old Atari game. But it looks like it's based on an old Atari game. It's nothing to do with the movie, the Will Smith movie, but it looks interesting. And the only other game I really would like to play is the Days Gone remastered. I saw an advert for Horde mode. I'm not sure if that's part of that, or if that's something separate. But I loved Days Gone. It was really good. The Horde mode, playing against the Hordes was excellent.
Brilliant game.
The remaster was coming out. But that's it this month, which hopefully.
Well, there's Tempest Rising as well. I forgot about that. If anyone's heard of that one. Basically, a studio has done what Electronic Arts haven't, and they've effectively bought back Command and Conquer.
Oh, wow.
So that's big things. I mean, there was a demo of it on Steam, I think about 6 months ago or something. They brought it out. It was literally just a quick playthrough of a demo mission sort of thing. But it looks exactly like a high-definition version of Command and Conquer Generals. It looks really cool. And you've got the obligatory 2 standard forces on there, like the first Command and Conquer games had on it. So it has that bring it back feel from that game. I was quite excited by that. I completely forgot that was coming out this year. Okay, that's another one I need to drastically just ignore. When we put it on Game Pass, I'm going to cry. But yeah, it's although 1 day ago, so the official trailers and stuff are all out now for the end of this month. So 17th, I think it is, it comes out. Yeah, 17th. No, 24th. Sorry, that was the one above it. So 24th for this month.
You mentioned Forza Horizon. That's coming out on PlayStation this month as well. Eventually.
Oh, is it? I thought that was put back.
Or maybe.
It seems to have sat there and just been very, very quiet for like a month after they just stuck the logo on the front of the store. So that's good if it actually has finally made it now.
It's listed on the Gamer website, which I wonder who they're aimed at.
I don't know. The last time I looked, it was they normally have been shouting about it before and trying to promote it as much as possible. I hadn't seen it on the front yet. That's good if it is. It's a weird one, that, because it's great they've done it, but at the same time, it's kind of, that game is now really old. I don't know what the player base is, if that's just a way of getting the player base back up until they make 6, maybe. I really don't know. I mean, it's a good move because it's an online game and there's a lot of players on it still, but I have to admit, I ran out of steam on it probably about 6-8 months ago because it just became very, very samey with the weekly challenges, and that was it. It was fun with friends, but that was kind of it. I
wonder if they'll make it cross-platform then, or will it just be?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
There was something about Steam. You mentioned Steam then that there was some kind of news, wasn't there, that you better play Steam games on Xbox.
That's right.
Okay.
It's popped up on the showed it on the the page when you log onto your Xbox. There's like a tab at the top showing Steam, so it looks like it's going to be there, which should be quite really, really fucking cool.
That would be amazing. I mean, for a lot of people, if you haven't got a PC and you want to play, I mean, the amount of cheap games you're about to buy as well, all them cheap Steam keys, and then you can play them on your Xbox. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Fucking excellent. It'd be a real seller for the system, to be honest.
If they open up an ecosystem and they make it a little bit more PC. One thing I thought about years ago is, as a child, generally speaking, most people had a computer bought for them because they could use it for schoolwork. You know what I mean? And it generally turned into a games machine, right? Now, Microsoft own Office, etc., right? Yeah. Why have they never added Office to the Xbox and turned it into like a student's device as well? You know, like, because you can plug a USB keyboard into it and a USB mouse into it. And you know, the amount of people, if you says, well, the kids can use it for their schoolwork as well, that'd be a real system seller, in my opinion. You know, if the parent was choosing in America or over here or wherever, and they're saying, look, Sony, it's just games, or if you're getting the Xbox, it's got a word processor and he can do certain things. I'm not saying it's going to be a fully open system, but he can do his schoolwork on it, he can surf on it, etc., you know, all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be an amazing thing. And I mean, Microsoft, they own Office. Surely it can't be that hard to put it on there.
We're going to just make it cloud-based, just make it 365.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody from Microsoft is listening, we own the patent on this. You have to pay the 3 of us. Because Paul came up with the idea on our show.
I could have been years ago. I thought, well, why have they never done that? Thank you.
No, it's a fair point. I mean, I agree entirely. It's an amount of kids that have an Xbox, A plays Fortnite and B plays it with a mouse and keyboard. So they've got the things there anyway, just by, even if it's not to do with like school or like educational related stuff.
I mean, Microsoft, they used to release keyboards and mice as well. I'm sure they could re-release them as well.
Bring back the Habu mouse. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. We got to wait for that. I'll wait for the check to come through. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.
Fantastic.
Right. So I think that kind of covers off everything we've got from probably the end of last month and this month on kind of the news, I think, to be honest with you. So let's move on to questions for the community. So I know we left it a little bit late this month, but thank you, Joe Middleton. We've got 2 from you, which is awesome. Thank you very much. And 2 very, very good ones as well. So the first one being, why have you chosen what is possibly the hardest year?
Don't.
And how difficult are you finding it? If you weren't doing it, what would you have bought so far? I probably would have had to remortgage by this point. It's the honest answer.
It's crazy.
Who wants to go first? You go for it, Paul?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm coping pretty well because I'm finding the games that are coming out. I've got something to counter them. So the Assassin's Creed Shadow would be a game I would definitely want you to buy. But I've got two other Japanesey sort of Assassin's Creed games, as in the Ghost of Tsushima and Rise of Ronin. So I've kind of got them two to counter that one. Although I would, given the choice out of the three, I probably would have, if I had the three that I could play, I would play Assassin's Creed Shadow. But and Avowed, I really wish I could play Avowed. That'd be a fantastic game to be playing. But I think the big one that's going to probably get me really is going to be Death Stranding 2, because that's going to be so, amazing story, music, visually. That's going to be the full package. But there again, I'm on something like the third chapter or the fourth chapter of Death Stranding. The regular version, well, it's not the regular version, it's the enhanced version, because they re-released it, didn't they? You could upgrade it for an extra tenner or whatever. So, yeah. But I think not until Death Stranding there's going to be other big games in the year, but Death Stranding 2, I think, is the one that's going to be the one that's really going to get me, really. What about you, Brian?
Assassin's Creed Shadow. I haven't really got into Assassin's Creed for a while, but because it's set here, I think that would be the one it's the one I'm really feel sick about, to say the least. I really want to play that. And is the Ghost of Tsushima, the second one, coming out this year?
Allegedly.
Yeah, I thought it is. I don't know there's an official date for it yet, but I thought it was.
It says it'll arrive sometime in 2025. If that comes out, I will really, I'll suffer. And why we did it this year, I don't know. A really fucking bad year to do it.
I think we started this year. It kind of looked at it, and the landscape didn't look too bad with what was being released. I think was the problem.
Well, for me, it was basically the backlog had just built up so much. I have to do something with it. So it's desperation, and now I'm just watching the new games come out, and I'm just I feel sick. I feel sick. It's not good.
Yeah, I kind of like. It's definitely been a year that I think has built. It's kind of been one that's kind of the boil of stuff being released has built up as we've gone along. Like I say, January was kind of like, this will be okay. There's not too much I'm worried about this year. And then all that stuff that's come through in like PlayStation's announcements and then Xbox's ones, and then kind of a lot of the stuff that has come out has been a lot more well received than years before, I think, in general. And it is that they're doing really good jobs of the release. It's like everyone's kind of like moved up a gear a little bit with releases. So it has made it hard. I have to say though, I think just kind of burying myself in my trench of what I have to play in Guild, I've enjoyed it so much that it kind of hasn't been as difficult as I thought it would be. I mean, you guys have been a great help and just sort of going through stuff and doing the games together, and those sort of like cracking on and the kind of like us sharing the progress we're making has been really, really good. That sense of achievement, like I'm actually making use of the money I've spent's been awesome, to be honest. That said, the bit at the end of it of like, what do you think you would so far if you weren't doing the challenge? I mean, Assetto Corsa, Tokyo Highway Challenge, multiple other racing games. I probably would have just spammed about 5 racing games out, to be honest. They look amazing. I've bought one for a present for someone else. Don't tell me if it's any good or not, right? You're welcome to it. Have it shut up. Effectively, but yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult year. I mean, quite frankly, we're only 3/4 months into it. I think the hardest bit is playing the games with friends on Game Pass, and you log into it and you see that list just recently added to it, and you're like, oh dear, that's not great. You know, I put the list down earlier on other stuff, so this is all things I just took from Game Pass to say with South of Midnight, Atomfall, Blizzard Arcade, for anyone who's old enough to remember Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing from the 16-bit era. They've both of those have been remastered, and that package has now come to Game Pass because it's a Blizzard-owned franchise. So, Commander's Origins, Nakara Blade Point looks great. We've smashed through F1 2023 as a thing, and now 24's on there. I love my racing games, and unfortunately, there's been quite a few good ones this year. So yeah, very, very good question, and I think it's been easy and difficult in equal measure. Maybe a good way of putting it. I don't know. So yeah, good question. Thanks, Joe. And then your second one literally was Switch 2 ... thoughts and a question mark at the end. Who wants to start with that? Do you want to go, Paul? I know you've been a lot of in this from announced.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be said about the Switch 2, isn't there? I mean, I would like a Switch 2. I would be more interested in the games that are the enhanced versions. I wasn't a big fan of some of the games that they showed on the, the showcase. There was Duskborn or something, which people saying, "Oh my goodness, it's Bloodborne 2, but for the Nintendo Switch." But it isn't meant to be that kind of game. And even if it was, it looks like, even if it did, it was like the PS2 version of Bloodborne. Bloodborne came out on the PS4. It did not look good. It looked pure junk. It were either unfinished massively or something. I don't know. It just didn't. It was more Switch 1. It looked better on Switch 1. So I'm not enamored by, and I'm not a big Mario Kart fan in any case. If they'd have announced a brand new Zelda game or a brand new Mario game or something like that, then I'd have been like, oh, wow. This is amazing. Yeah, I've got to have one. I realize what I'm missing. The hardware looks fantastic. The screen looks fantastic. Everything about it looks amazing. But some of the games, a lot of it's stuff that was already released on other consoles in any case. So that takes away some of the excitement because I can already play those. And to play them portably, I can probably play them portably on my Steam Deck in any case. So it's not quite there for me. I did want one initially, and I would have potentially bought one just to play the enhanced versions. I mean, the really, really, really big news about the Switch 2, though, is the fact that they give a release date, and then the poor guys in America, and this is a knock-on effect for the guys in Canada as well, oddly enough, is that they won't be coming on the date, and they've had to rethink the price because of Donald Trump's tariffs.
It's a sad thing, isn't it?
It is. It's a very sad thing because it's a tax on the American people, and it's unfair on them. I mean, the idea that he wants to bring manufacturing back to his country, which is a fantastic and honourable thing to want to do, unfortunately, is not bedded in reality because to be able to compete with these Far East countries and India, that you're going to have a highly trained workforce that's prepared to work for $5 an hour. The kids in McDonald's get paid $13 an hour. So it's not bodied in reality that they're going to be able to manufacture, say, iPhones at a realistic price that the American people would be happy to pay. Unless they're happy to, pay double the price, but it says made in America, fair enough. He hasn't really got a plan, really, that suggests to anyone in Asia that it can be taken with any credibility that we're going to bring manufacturing back. Because if they are going to do that, it's going to take 5 to 10 years. And there again, a lot of people saying, well, Trump might not even be around in 5 or 10 years in the respect of being a president. So that what's the point in us making plans right now to build a huge, humongous factory in America when we could just stay in China and suffer it? Who's paying for this? The American people. So I think it's madness. Personally speaking, I think if he was going to do it properly, he should have, he's not a big fan of the Mexicans. He should have palled up with the Mexicans because they do work for a lot less than the Americans work, money-wise, and they have very short transport times from Mexico. It's just over the border. He no longer has to build this big wall that he keeps talking about. He can just build big factories over there and then import the stuff at a reasonable price because the Mexicans have built it. And he can even easily send Americans over to go work with them, help them, train them, and vice versa. And then it can make its way across the border into America and then start making these things in a robotic, automated type factory where the price will come down. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all high in the sky. I think that's been proved. I was saying earlier that the penny's dropped. The penny hasn't dropped. It's $1 trillion that's dropped. That's made him sort of realise it's time to wake up and smell the coffee, But anyway, is a bit bonkers. But
it is. It's a shame that the price of it. I mean, $400 for a console in the first place is a lot of money to a lot of people.
Well, I think it's 500.
was it $500? Yeah, 400
Yeah.
£400. So I mean, but
Yeah.
that surely that's going to push towards 400 or £50, £500 now, to be honest, isn't it? Surely, but it's a shame.
Well-
It's badly timed, isn't it? I do really feel sorry for Nintendo. They've done this big thing, this big promotion of it, forced it all out there, and then these tariffs came in, and it kind of just literally just swept it straight under the rug, sort of thing. It was like a tidal wave of just issues. I don't know. My fingers crossed it gets itself all sorted out. I mean, you never know, but I mean, it's, I hope it works purely because the Switch, I think, is they need to do it. They need to keep up with the competition. They need to keep up with Xbox and PlayStation. And it's the first thing. Everyone's always been with the Switch. The first one was like, it's just an Nvidia Shield effect. Go for glorified one with the same chip in it. Whereas this is now going to be a 4K console, which is quite an impressive thing, really. It does look pretty cool.
A lot of it's that old thing, like say up to 4K. I mean, technically speaking, they reckon it's a PlayStation 4, which could never really. It can do 4K, but it's kind of like they use techniques though, to like checkerboard effects and all that kind of thing. So it looks 4K, and I mean, it will be a real powerhouse. That piece of kit will be a real powerhouse. There's no doubting about it. I will get one eventually, 1,000,000%. But right now, there's not quite enough in there to make me sort of like be really annoyed that I can't really. Well, I could buy one and just play my old games on them, but you've got to pay to upgrade the games, which is kind of against the principle of the Year of Shame challenge. So.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest bit I think that frustrated me is they made the big noise about you can play all your old games on it, but if you want it to look prettier, you're gonna have to give us £25 or whatever it will be to upscale it, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of money, guys. I mean, even the price of the games everyone was shouting about when they first come out, granted, it's kind of maybe a little bit over exaggerated because I mean PlayStation and Xbox games are creeping up physically as well. But I mean, was it like it was £80, wasn't it? Mario Kart.
I think so, yeah.
Well, that's nuts, sort of thing. Yeah, but I mean, there's some good stuff on there. I mean, I think it's going to be the same as all the previous Nintendo's consoles are for me personally. I mean, other people see it differently, but they're all about first party. Nintendo always have been. You buy a Nintendo console because you want to play Nintendo games. I mean, the other stuff they put on there saying about like the Bloodborne 2 game and that sort of stuff, and they made a big noise of all their third-party partners and stuff like that, and I was a little bit forward through that. Oh, Donkey Kong, great. Okay, let's have a look at that. I got much more interest in that. So, I mean, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, and there's one other game, I can't remember what it was now, but those three big ones, they will be the that will run at 4K because they'll be properly tailored first-party games. And I think that's kind of where the focus will be. I mean, the Wii U did it, the Switch did it, everything else did it with these first-party games, and it's what they're good at. It's definitely what they're good at, and it's what I would buy one for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt in it. It's a worthy piece of kit for sure.
They're not like.
Also, like that camera that's like a big power plant thing, whatever it was, is quite cool as well.
For me, I've no real history with Nintendo. I haven't really looked at it, so I didn't even watch anything about it. But no, I might look at it later on in a year or two, but I've no real interest in it at the moment. But one thing,
Strangely though, they were saying that the Japanese version were going to be a lot cheaper. But allegedly, that's just a rumor now. They were saying that they did a Japanese version which was cheaper than the rest of it, but it was region locked.
It's supposed to be all region locked, isn't it? So the Americans can't buy the UK ones or the Japanese ones. So yeah, maybe I could.
Well, do you know this Trump tariff thing? That might have shot them in the foot because they could have diverted all that American stock other than the transit. Well, you have to change the plug and probably all the writing on the box, but you could just repackage this Switch 2, and then he could have sent it to England or to Europe. You know, if this American Trump tariff thing had carried on for too much longer. So, but anyway, it looks like you might have seen some sense.
Let's say, if anybody from the American government, Don, if you are listening, our idea, I'm saying our idea of using, of getting Mexico to help you out with a type problem. That again, consultancy fees, you can send them through to us. You can get us on Patreon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Genius. I say we could do, Brian, if you haven't had a Nintendo console before, there's going to be a lot of cheap Switch 1s in the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good games on the Switch 1. So
There is. quality games
Yeah,
on
I
there.
don't know. I keep thinking, like the Mario games and stuff. I keep thinking people, it's nostalgia for when we were kids, and they're not actually good games. That's what I keep telling myself. But I suppose they are good games. But
All I'm going to say is you keep telling yourself that. That is
But
the problem. You start playing one of them, it's like, it's Mario Odyssey. I mean, I bought the Switch and I got it with, I think it was Octopath Traveler or something. I bought it off a guy with. I sold that for like more money than I bought Odyssey 4 on eBay. And then literally I just played that to death. It's such a good game. And it's like, you think about this tablet is banging out the graphics that the Switch one did was just nuts. I mean, yeah, in handheld format, it was 720p and it was kind of no anti-aliasing around the stuff like that. But when you put it on a TV, I just don't understand. Like your eyes just get burnt out by primary colors with Nintendo. What happens, but yeah, they're so cool. Great little consoles. If you could pick one up cheap for like £100 or something,
when you connect it to the TV, is the font bigger? Because one of the problems I'd have with handheld is the screens are small, and as Paul graciously mentioned earlier, I'm of an older age group. My eyesight is beginning to go like fuck. I've got very focal glasses, and I'm still having to take them off and pull stuff up really close to read it. So the handheld, I'd be playing with the game miles away, trying to get it in focus, then pulling it up, lifting my glasses up. But I feel on TV, if the font is clear enough, because even I've got an old TV, I'm playing some of the PlayStation stuff on. It's a 1080. I can't even read the text on it because it's not clear enough on it. So I'd be worried about using a handheld or the.
No, the Switch's scaling's perfect. I found anyway. It does a really good job of it, and they do.
Very,
I think because especially as you're playing first party games again with Nintendo, they are built to kind of cover all age groups. They are nice big fonts and stuff on there for your eyes and stuff. My dad's the same way. We played Mario Party at Christmas, and he was exactly the same way, sort of.
I think that's the first time when somebody said all age groups. I've always thought of it being the young children. I've never thought of the elderly. Like, oh my god, you've just included me in that.
My vision's going at 40, so don't worry, it's fine. So I mean, I think that kind of covers us on the Switch too a little bit, and everyone sort of. I think it's going to be a great console. I hope that kind of gives a good enough answer for the people. It looks good. It looks great, but it's got some way to go, and it needs a bit more first-party support. Would be my.
I think they've set themselves up so they can do the upgrade with the OLED panel later on. Well, I think it should have started off with an OLED panel, just to get you the proper blacks and stuff. But I think LCD is cheaper. As far as I know, it's an LCD screen that's going to be on it.
Well, I will say, but the screen on the original Steam Deck was an LCD screen, and also that was a fantastic LCD screen. The LCD screen on the original Switch is pretty awful, but if you do get one, buy the cheapest possible Switch and the oldest possible Switch if necessary, because when you plug it into your TV, they work identically. There's no difference between an OLED one on your TV. There's no faster processor in there. I think it's got it has got something changed in there. So if you did play it handheld in OLED, then the battery does last longer. But if you're only playing it on your TV, just buy the cheapest one. Don't worry about OLED. It does look nice as the OLED screen. I will say Nintendo knocked it out of the park with the OLED screen.
Yeah, we've got loads of. There's a whole second-hand chain, massive chain of stuff called Book Off, BOOK Off, and they've got Hard Off, which is for hardware. So, I have.
I thought you were saying something else for a minute. That's so Viagra.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know why they came up with the name Book Off, but I think like.
If I tell someone to book off over here, it will be real.
But they've got Hard Off, which is the hardware, and they have a huge amount of second-hand hardware, and it's all usually good, really good quality. So I don't know. I might check it out, and I'll line it up for next year. Speaking of,
you'll wait for the post on January the 2nd when you've gone to go and buy one.
Just totally off. Speaking of weird names of things over here, they have a patisserie shop, bakery, whatever, and it's called Chatterese, which is sort of like a French name. The guy who set it up, Japanese guy, had been to France. apparently when you translate it, reze means shaved, and chat is another word for cat. So I don't know why he's named his. Well,
The shaved
doesn't
cat.
in France. It's a chat meaning two. Yeah, cat and something else. So
Yeah. I wasn't going to go there, but yeah.
I don't know. I do like going to that shop though. The food is quite good in there.
What about
Right.
our random game for next month as well?
Oh
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
just about to mention that one. I do have the spinner going on my screen here, just going around slowly, so I can spin and see where it gets us. Obviously, we've done Kena Bridge of Spirits this month. What else was on there as well? We've got Child of Light, Sackboy's Big Adventure, Little Nightmare 2, Ollie Ollie 2, and we did say about potentially playing Overcooked if it came to it as a multiplayer. I mean, if we want to literally just give up on month 4 and never talk to each other again, we can definitely go for it. That's the friendship breaker that one is, but it is good. But I will spin the wheel now and see what happens as I go at it. And it's not so good without the visual element of it. Right, the good news is we've gone past Overcooked. Just. It's Ollie Ollie 2 is this month's game. So
I don't think
shouting and frustration then.
I don't think I've played Ollie Ollie 2. I don't even really know a lot about it, but I'm going to set it to download.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I think it's on my PS5 already. So, we'll have a go at that. It's literally an easy, nice little skateboard with a story to it. Quickly started it to see what it was like, and you have to make a little character up and stuff like that to focus on the storyline. But that should be good. So we'll have a stab at that one. Whether we'll get through, it'll be interesting to see what we all think of it, because it's a game I don't think any of us have really tackled before at all, is it?
Is it Ollie Ollie World?
I think it's 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
Oh, got Ollie Ollie World.
Is it World?
Ollie Ollie World.
Yeah.
If it's that could be the one I started as well. In that case, with 2. Forgive me in my failure on the spinner. We'll go with that one.
I wonder what it reckons the completion time. So if it says anything, I'm going to double it, whatever it says it is, because that's what I find these time to beat things. Says, you'll do it in 8 hours, 25 hours later. Even on story mode, some of these games. So let's have a look. How long does it reckon?
Literally just typing it in now. Let's have a look. How long is it to beat? It reckons main story is 5.5 hours, and main plus side is 12. If you're a completionist, it's 56.
Oops.
Oh my God. That's not happening. Not happening.
Don't get addicted.
That's it. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Well, it's a game I know nothing about, so I'll enjoy it because it's something totally different, and it gets good reviews as well, according to this.
Yeah, very, very good reviews. Yeah.
So I look forward to playing that.
Play along.
There we go.
Anybody else out there wants to play along and put in the Facebook group? How are you getting on with it?
It's on PlayStation Plus, I believe. So let us know if you want to join in. In the meantime, I've got my notes on here is spin the wheel game for next month. Ben, get your ass in gear and finish Kena. So that's the thing I've got to do first. So I'll attempt to do that this weekend, and then we can give that a good shout. Give it a good go next month / this month. Happy jubbly. Well, that is everything I had on my list for an agenda for this evening, guys. So
I've worked through mine as well. Nothing else left.
Lovely job. Just give the usual shout outs to make sure you go and look at all the different formats we're putting the podcast up onto. Have you got it, Brian? You should be seasoned at it.
I know. But I found it the other day. Where did I put it? You can get us on email, yearofshame@gmail. That's yearofshame@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, apparently, Year of Shame. At Year of Shame. Yeah. And we're in the Facebook group, of course, Year of Shame, which is part of the Midlife Gamer. So get your arse there. Leave us a message. I think that's all. Oh, also Patreon, again. If you give us 20 quid a month, it's your balls deep level. If it's 2 quid a month, you're just in. And if you if you're not paying on the free level, then you can just that's the Brian level. But you can't even get
I
in.
was thinking
So
about
that's it.
I was thinking about the Patreon. Well, we could actually have a £100 level. I was thinking,
Oh yeah.
where each month we take it in turns to read for the Patreons or the patrons a sexy bedtime story.
No one
That's
ever
a
really
hundred-
wants that
Jesus
from me.
Christ.
That's £100 a month. Though.
With my
It's more than
accents.
balls deep. Is that?
Jesus. To be sure.
Well, that took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Jesus, push it in, lady. What the fuck? Oh my
It'll
God,
have
no.
to be the rhythm method, whatever they're doing.
If you need natural contraception, you can listen to us. It'll put you off everything.
Yeah.
I don't know which bit's this I'm going to put in. Oh, right. On
my
that
God.
note, I think
All
we
right.
should probably call it a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff. Right. Thank you very much again, as always, guys. And take care. And we'll be back with more absolute randomness next month. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, guys. Good to speak to you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for speaking. See it. Thank you for speaking. Oh my God, I still can't get words right. Fuck. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And thanks for the chat, guys. See you. Have a good night. See you. Bye.
Bye.